What's up, everybody? Welcome to Value Town. I'm ChanManV, and today we've got our special guests, our old friends, Jackie and Allie, back, joining me and Gaara. What's up, guys?
Hello! Excited to be back.
Yes.
Yeah, it's been great. Great to be back.
Yeah. How long has it been now? Has it been 2 months already? Has it been about that long since the last time you've been on?
I think it's been longer.
Has
yeah,
it?
I think like three months.
Oh my
three
gosh.
It's
nearly
April.
Man,
I think it was December or January. That was the last one.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Time totally flies. But we picked a great one to have you guys back, given that we
Yes.
had day before expansion, 65 cards to talk about. And of course, we're not going to be able to talk about all 65 guys, so it's not going to be a 3-hour show. You know, you guys don't expect that. Tried to group them as well as we can. We'll definitely be seeing 65 cards, but I don't know if we'll be, you know, kind of going over it like crazy. But yeah, you guys excited? Everybody, like, what have you guys been doing, or what have you guys been doing in preparation for tomorrow?
I've been theory crafting a little bit here, trying to think of decks to play for the Invitational and just kind of going over all the new cards. Pretty excited.
Yeah, you've
yeah,
got an
pretty
invitation.
similar. I've been doing lots of kind of theory crafting, trying to work out what decks could be good, what cards could be good, and also kind of reminiscing about the cards that are rotating out.
Yeah.
Today I had a Yogg appreciation stream to say goodbye to our meme Lord and Savior.
Yeah.
I did too.
Really?
Yeah.
That's great. I love
I
it.
was playing Mage and I decided to put Yogg in there, and then I was like, let's honor him on this last day.
Yeah, this is when we really show love. What is that, Gaara?
I played Razaka's Priest.
Rizaka's Priest.
Oh,
Okay.
Razaka's
Okay.
Priest appreciation
Uh,
stream.
the buffed or the nerfed Raza appreciation stream. Okay, that's good. I didn't give thanks to any. Well, maybe I played a little bit of Barnes recently, but I'm not sure if I'm trying to give appreciation to Barnes or not.
yeah.
But
Barnes does not deserve any appreciation.
Number one
He's the
most
star.
excited to
He's the
leave
star.
would be Barnes.
He's the star.
Get him out of there.
Okay, get out of here. Exactly. It's got to be the number one hate. Actually, in fact, I think it was number one in Streamer Showdown when we had the question for Twitch Chat says the card you're most excited about rotating. It was
Oh, really?
Barnes. Yeah, it was definitely Barnes. So
I'm not surprised.
yeah, lots of people feel that way. Well, we've got definitely, Allie, you're gonna be part of this invitational that they announced, which I guess Blizzard's hosting this first event of the expansion, and it has 8 people in it, you included. So I don't know, give us the lid on that.
Yeah, so that'll be on Friday starting at 9 in the morning.
Yeah.
We are required to add 8 new cards into any kind of deck. There can be duplicates, so you can have 2 copies of 4. And basically, whenever you win in the beginning rounds, that counts as a ban for the final.
Yeah, that's cool. That's interesting.
Final rounds. And then I guess it's up to the teams to decide who plays the final round. So we'll see.
Okay, so it's like NA versus EU type of thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Basically.
Cool. Who's gonna
There's
win?
Savin's in there. He's not really an Ava guy.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, he
Just
lives
throw
in
him
the
in there.
US, right? That counts now. I guess the other guys don't live, right? I feel like Orange almost lives in the US these days. But yeah, that should be exciting. It's gonna be crazy to come up. A lot of these guys come up with interesting decks, or at least Dog's, you know, known for day one all the time. I feel like Dog the last maybe 2, and Jackie, you too. Like, I feel like some decks been really, really powerful, like rank 1 legend type of powerful after the first day or 2 from you guys. So can't wait to see how that affects this kind of competition too. All right, that's cool that Blizzard's you know, starting this kind of invitational. I think, is Toast still doing his thing over the weekend? I thought Toast was planning something too, but maybe not.
Like a private.
Yeah, well, some type of. I
tournament?
thought he was doing some kind of invitation. Maybe that never came into fruition, but I remember he was.
I thought so too.
Yeah, there was some kind of stream where he was planning it. But anyways, it's gonna be fun. Definitely gonna be great to see. One thing I wanted to make sure we do before we start is like just mention that we are sponsored by Dollar Shave Club today. So if you guys are looking for razors or sick of tired of going to the store, having to buy it all the time, you know, Dollar Shave Club is definitely going to be the thing for you, and we'll talk a little bit more about it later in the show. But another thing too that we found out this week was we obviously saw all the cards that Ben and Day9 ended up showing, which was a hilarious stream. That was like super entertaining, those two guys together. But we found out that there's a borrow your friends deck now. So, which is, did you see that? You guys saw that, right? What do you guys think of that? Pretty cool? Something you guys have been looking for, or your
I
viewers?
did not see this, no.
Oh, yeah. There's this whole concept. Yeah, you can share.
Yeah, it's really cool. So if you challenge your friend, you can actually like use their deck instead of your own, which is obviously really good for people who kind of don't have access to all the cards. They can instead use their friend's deck, and allows them to play a lot of the cards that they don't have access to.
That's wicked. That's so cool.
Yeah, it's great for people, you know, or you trying to get your friends to start playing Hearthstone. You know, like when playing from a starter deck, you can't really play against people with starter decks these days.
No.
So really, really cool feature, and very unexpected too. Like I don't think anybody expected this feature. So really, really nice that it got announced, and we're going to get a chance to see it tomorrow. I don't think it's out yet, right? It comes out tomorrow. Even though the patch is actually, I think, on all of our clients right now. It'll definitely be great to see that. Another thing, too, is... What was I going to... one other thing, too, in terms of just the release tomorrow, is that the Monster Hunt will not be available on just during the release. So I think it's going to be another 2 weeks, which is like the dungeon run, you know, Witchwood dungeon run kind of thing. So yeah, that's going to come out in another 2 weeks, and we'll get a chance to kind of experience that a little bit separately. But new hero is going to be out too. You guys excited to get Lunara?
Yeah.
No.
Wait, everyone gets
Very cool.
If you win 10 standard ranked or casual games, so.
I managed to do that somehow.
Yeah, I would imagine you could do that really quickly.
After a week.
Yeah.
I'll be there.
Yeah, you'll be there. Okay, after like 1 hour probably. So that's going to be there for everybody. Also, make sure you get this. Yeah, this is the last day that you can purchase the $50 70 pack thing. So make sure you get that in there so you can get those extra 20 packs.
Just such a good deal.
Yeah, such a good deal. We should.
Is that the first time that they've done this? I think so. Right. 50 for 70?
Yeah, 50 for 70 for sure. Did they do 50 for 60 last time? They might have done 60 last time.
Maybe.
It used to be just 50 for 50 before, but...
Yeah, it's usually 50.
Okay. So yeah, get bonus 20 packs. And we've been getting packs from the quest, so yeah, lots of free stuff recently. It's going to be good for sure. Okay, should we just get started with some of these cards?
Yeah.
Sound good?
Dive straight in.
Yeah, let's dive straight in. Gar's been like super excited, guys. So we better just hurry up and get before he explodes here.
Before he
explodes. All right. So what I did, broke them down into classes like we did last week. But instead of going one at a time, I figured we would just kind of show them all at once because we can kind of get some synergy together. You know, just seeing how some of these cards synergize together, and not to mention it's just more efficient time-wise. so why don't we look at mage cards first here, and yeah, anybody want to start with a card that they really, really like, and we'll just kind of like pick and choose from these.
I mean, I can start.
Okay, go for it.
Okay, a card that is super good is the Bonfire Elemental Mage, because 5 mana 5/5 draw a card is super ultra mega powerful. This seems to be the most powerful card from these cards. There's a lot of question marks about the other cards that are also powerful. Like the book is very powerful, but what kind of deck you want to play it in? It is kind of like a big spell mage card, but it's bad for big spell mage. Because it's a spell. You want to play it in. It's good for spiteful mage because you have a lot of monsters. But again, it's a cheap spell, and you don't want to play a cheap spell. So it's a weird card. It's like a card in a weird spot, I would say. You could play this in Elemental Mage, but in Elemental Mage, you want to play minions in curve. And with this new 5-drop, you should not run out of cards ever. So again, a bit weird. I just don't see the place for such a card in the meta.
Okay, so you're talking about like Book of Specters not having a place?
Yeah, it's just, I don't see this deck just yet. It just doesn't make sense. It's like a card for decks that don't want to play a 2-mana spell.
Okay.
And yeah, it's just weird. Also, like this 2-drop that is kind of pushing a minion mage, and we really haven't. I think the cheap spells are like the strong suit of mage in general, like the Primordial Glyphs, the Frostbolts, the Firebolts, like spells in general. you don't really want to play a minion-based Zooish mage. But I think that, you know, out of these new cards, like Elemental Mage might be stronger, definitely, and like a spiteful Zooish kind of mage.
Okay, so Elemental Mage. All right, who else? Who else likes Elemental Mage right now?
I do.
Yeah, I could see it potentially being a thing, but I don't know why you wouldn't. I think if I was playing Elemental Mage, I think I would play Archmage Arugal and Book of Specters in it, because I mean, maybe because you have kind of lots of card draw going on there, you could even have like a lower curve and have more cheap and early game things. Whether Elemental Mage will actually be good, I don't know. I mean, I think some kind of mage with the Death Knight is so good, so definitely a possibility for it.
Yeah, I mean, Elemental Mage doesn't lose much, right? Like, does it lose?
No,
anything?
not much at all.
No, right? Okay.
I mean,
yeah.
I think the landscape for mage is just changing in general because of Ice Block rotating out. So Gaara, you were saying, like, you know, generally its power has been the spells, the frost bolts, and the fireballs and everything, but I think that mage is just changing. Like, obviously those cards are still going to be strong, and so I don't know, I think 2 mana drawing 3 cards, like, I think you can run this in an elemental mage deck with spells, like, maybe not as many as the past, but I don't think it'll be that detrimental to run some kind of a spell pool with this card. And I think, you know, the fact that you can't discard Jaina, like, Jaina's objective #1 essentially for a lot of, you know, these control elemental type decks. And if it gets you closer to Jaina, I feel like that's just good.
It's definitely good. Yeah, Jaina's obviously a great card. So definitely one of my favorites that we've had this, or at least in 2017. Yeah, Book of Specters. I mean, you could argue just Book of Specters is good, period. Like, even if you discard a spell, like, even if you discard 1 spell and you still get 2, even, I mean, obviously bad times you get 1. I mean, it's debatable whether you could just play it in almost anything. But I do want to bring up something, because Jackie, you talked about Archmage Arugal and Book of Specters. Talk to me about the dynamic between running those two versus just like a Lunith right now. You know, like, you just arm a Lunith. Is a Lunith too fast for like this type of minion based strategy, or is this type of thing just better than a Lunith?
In my opinion, I think if you were playing like Arugal and Book of Specters, I don't think you would want to play Alaneth. I think if a deck you're playing Alaneth, I think wants to be, you want to have a lot of cheap spells, because mage don't actually have that many powerful like early game minions. So I feel like if you're playing these and Alaneth, then it's going to be really difficult to empty your hand. Yeah. So I think some kind of Alaneth could be a thing, by the way, still, with like, because we've still got lots of burn-in mage, we've still got fire, we've still got Frostbolt, Mana Worm, etc.
Yeah.
And I actually quite like Arcane Keysmith for that type of deck as well. Discover a Secret, because obviously we've got Explosive Runes and Counterspell, which are possibly the 2 strongest secrets for aggressive mage decks right now. And this can just let you have a third one, which your opponent also doesn't know what it is. Like, sometimes they might have like played around 2 counterspells, and then you can just Keysmith and get a third counterspell, and they might not play around it. And so I think Keysmith's actually a pretty nice card as well.
You guys like Secret Mage even with Valet rotating?
No, I think it's dead.
Okay, it's dead.
I like it.
I think there's a chance. I think Keysmith is really good. So
Keysmith is great, but I just think Secret Mage, like, it's losing the 5/5s, the 2/1 Valet, like, it's losing so many things, and Ice Block. So I just can't really. Yeah,
I don't think Ice Block's that important though. Like, we still have some really strong cards. Like, you still got like Arcanologist, which is insane. You still got Kirin Tormage with it, which is insane. You still got the 2 most powerful secrets. You've still got the burn tools with Fireball, Frostbolt. You've got Arcane Intellect, Primordial Glyph, Sorcerer's Apprentice. Like,
it's everything.
Still got so many cards.
But the
I
problem
think
is,
some kind of aggressive mage will definitely still be a thing.
I think the problem is that we don't have a replacement for the cards that are rotating out. Like, you have to replace them with really bad cards. We have no Violence Portal, no Cabal Crystal Runner, no Medea's Relay, no Ice Block, and the replacements seem very bad.
Well, I mean, 2 of them are right here. Arcane Keysmith, right? So 2 of them.
Yeah, but Arcane Keysmith is, I think it's just tempo-wise, it's just pretty bad.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with Gaara on this one.
Okay.
It's not aggressive enough.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tiny bit slower, but and then missing Ice Block. I mean, Ice Block, you just have to just rule out the equation and just come up with a separate angle, or, you know, make it faster or something like that, right? Because, yep, go ahead.
Sorry, you finished.
No, I was just gonna say, like, you know, one of the things that they added was the God, I forget the name of it. 1/2 that gives you armor, right, for the spells. But there's no
Arcane
expensive
Artificer.
spells. Yeah, Artificer. There's no expensive spells. They didn't add any. So, you know, we're
Yeah, that's
losing
what
Portal, and it's like, so we're not actually getting much heal armor from that anymore, you know, in the long run. So if that was supposed to be kind of that replacement for Ice Block, it's not going to function very well that way. So, yeah, there's got to be some kind of different angle to it at the end.
Yeah, I think one thing that's kind of interesting as well is that, like, Cinderstorm looks like a really bad card, but then if your opponent has nothing on the board, then it's essentially deal 5 damage to face.
Sure.
And in an aggressive mage deck, you're probably going to be controlling the board in the early game and kind of stopping your opponent having minions. So even though it looks like a terrible card, maybe it could end up being better than it looks. But one of the mage cards I actually like the most is not one of these 7, but you know, the Vex Crow?
Yeah, Vex Crow.
Yeah, that thing. I think
Let me see,
that minion could actually encourage people to play more cheap spells in aggressive mage decks, like Arcane Missiles, the Mirror Image, and then we could maybe even see Antonidas make a return in these tempo mage style decks.
Huh. Okay.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
It's definitely a
Vex
Jackie
Crow's
deck.
Yeah, definitely a jagged. Vex Crow. He brought out Vex Crow for
Vex
this
Crow,
one.
man.
Yo, Vex Crow is great.
Yeah, I mean Vex Crow is. It's just historically it hasn't that type of, you know, balancing and deck that summons, you know, like we had a 5/5, right? They used to summon a 2-drop too. Was it a 2-drop or 3-drop? I can't even remember. But they've never been quite strong enough to play. So it'd be kind of interesting if Vex Crow ends up being strong enough here.
It's like Jackie sees stuff that we normally
I
don't
know.
see.
It's like he sees the Matrix way differently than we do. Man.
He looks
cool.
at Camel Hunter and he's
It's
like,
great.
wow, that's a Rank 1 Legend deck right there.
Well, you know, one card you haven't talked about that's on here right here is Snap Freeze. So how do we feel about Freeze in Mage? Are we all in agreement it's not great? Or does somebody feel different about it?
Dead.
No. Bad.
No. Okay. All right. Yes.
It's dead.
Give up on Freeze. Please give up on Freeze unless you go just
And even
full out on
the
it.
only like old archetype that will continue, in my opinion, is Big Spell Mage, but it will have a rough time. Like Big Spell Mage without Icebook, it's pretty rough.
Big Spell Mage with big spells is.
I mean, I think
it's
without,
kinda hard.
I think I've played some versions without Ice Block, and I think
Yeah.
it can be okay. Like,
Yeah.
so I
The
have faith.
Artificer is what saves it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
we still have Flame Strike.
Yeah.
We still got
But-
Pyro. We still got.
But it's still rough.
Hmm.
The thing is, like, you usually use that deck to counter OTK decks. Let's say this, we will talk about this later, like the Shadow Shock Shaman. If you don't have Ice Blocks, it also like nerfs the power level of Big Spell Mage, like the place in the meta. It's kind of like, you know, the Inner Fire Priest counter,
Mhm.
the OTK counter, and if you don't have Ice Blocks, you don't have that, so it's gonna be rough.
Okay. All right. So we done
Do
with
you
Mage?
guys-
You guys want to keep talking about
um,
Mage? Yep.
But one more point. Do you guys remember like a little bit more of a minion-centric tempo mage? I think it was when Flamewaker, but it was still
Nick.
in the meta. But there was like a 5/5 that summoned another one, and then
Yeah,
the
that's-
ethereal guy that you discovered.
Oh yeah,
spell.
Faceless Summoner.
That's what I was
Yeah,
talking
Faceless
about.
Summoner.
It's kind of like
So-
Vex Crow. Yeah.
Do you think that there could be like a little bit slower of a tempo burn deck? Like you're still running Frostbolts and Fireballs, but you're running the Arcane Keysmith as well, and Water Elementals. Like I think that, you know, Shredders, like that was in kind of old style tempo mage. So
Yeah.
maybe
The
you
straight
know, the
curve.
Keysmith could go, like
Yeah.
it'll be a little slower than Burn Mage. It exists now, but potentially like a tempo. I don't know.
I think
Maybe.
I think it's missing the burn. Yeah.
I mean, you could maybe do that with like combined with elementals. Obviously, like the
Mhm.
Bonfire
Yeah.
Elemental is a really good addition, but with Firelands Portal rotating out, Blaze Caller is actually like basically the same thing, if not better.
If not better.
If you're playing elementals, yeah. So
Okay.
could be worth a try.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Okay, well, why don't we move on to our second class, which is Hunter. So we didn't get many. They definitely announced a bunch of Hunter cards throughout the week, so not too many at the end here. We ended up with 3. Actually, on our list, it should be Toxmonger too. But so we got Toxmonger, Carrior Drake, and Vilebrood Skitterer. Actually, I should read them out. I forgot. Sorry, guys that are listening. I didn't read out the last batch, given that it's it was you know, just shown on stream here. So Toxmonger is a 4-mana 2/4. Whenever you play a 1-cost minion, give it poison, and it's an epic card. And then Carrion Drake, Battlecry, 5 mana. If a minion died this turn, gain poison. So there's a lot of poison. 3/7 dragon is this Carrion Drake. And then lastly, 5 mana, 1/3 beast, Vilebrood Skitterer, poison, rush. So all 3 cards have poison involved with it. And, you know, seems to be something that Blizzard's trying to, you know, help hunters control boards, you know, remove things instead of like giving it some crazy spells that just kills everything. So yeah, what do you guys think of this card? Like, okay, Gaara, go for it.
I feel like these cards are made for Jackie, and I think he will be the player who plays this card the most. This is why I wanted to start. I don't see. I definitely see a place for Hunter in the future meta, but I don't see it as Control Hunter. I think Control Hunter will be really bad, except the deck Jackie will play. That might be pretty good potentially. I think you want to play Hunter. I think you will want to play Hunter in a phase play style. I see potentially Baku Hunter, something like that. But you want to play a Burn Hunter. If Q Block, like most people anticipate, me as well, to be like the strongest deck in the game in terms of power level, it can be beat, especially with no Mistress of Mixtures. You don't get new healing with like a phase strategy. So I can see like a phase hunter. I can actually see Spell Hunter being a thing again, because Rexa is much stronger now than before. So you basically have your focus point on burn for like Huffer and just burn and Rexa, and it might be good enough in my opinion, because a lot of the powerful cards are rotating out, like Netherspite Historians, more Dustbreakers and all that stuff, and like a Face Hunter. I don't think Control Hunter will be good for the meta. It will be better control decks, in my opinion, and the other control decks will be stronger than Control Hunter.
Okay.
Except the deck Jackie will make.
Okay. Wow. Okay, before we get to Jackie's, I think Jackie probably has a lot to say on Hunter. Allie, thoughts on these Hunter cards? What do you think?
Honestly, initially, my initial thoughts of these just bad. Like, with the Toxmonger, first of all, they don't have that many 1-drops anymore, Hunter. Like, I guess you can do neutral 1-drops, but you'd think you'd want to combo that out with being an odd deck, and this costs 4 mana, so don't really like this card. The Carrion Drake, just, not much to say. And I don't know. I agree with Gaara in that I don't think that Hunter's strategy is going to be control. Like, it's nice that they're giving it ways to, single target remove minions and all of that good stuff. But I think a mid-range or a more aggressive deck for Hunter is just where it would be the strongest. So I just kind of wrote these cards off as not being very good.
Yeah, I don't know. It's Carrion Drake. I don't like that much. I mean, I think out of the 3, I don't really love that card. And there is this like potential dragon-ish thing that you can do with Hunters given the cards available, but I don't necessarily think it comes together very well. And then Vilebrood Skitterers is basically a 5 mana type of assassinate card, right? Like, it's worse because you can be blocked by a taunt of some sort, but you can actually kill a 1/1 too, right? And maybe do something with that too. So it's an interesting way to do a removal card, and I think that's like a general theme with Hunter. This release is like they've used minions as a way to remove, in the Hunter class instead of just giving them spells, and that's actually kind of cool, from a design standpoint. And then Toxmonger, I think this card has potential. Like, I think that I don't know exactly how the deck comes together, but having a deck that's heavy in 1 cost, and I know what you meant by the Baku thing, but this kind of fitting better in like a Baku deck, but I still think there's something there with this card that allowed it to at least bridge to the to the next section for Hunter. But Jackie, what do you think, man?
Jackie, one more thing. Yeah. Jackie made Piranha Launcher like a playable card. So these cards are playing like tier 0.
When was that? I don't remember that.
Tier 0.
This is the first day? I don't remember Piranha Launcher. When was this?
I don't even remember them myself.
Okay. All right. Let's talk about these cards. What do you think?
The Vilebrood Skitterer I don't really like. The Carrion Drake I think is actually a decent card, but
okay. Yeah.
I don't know what, like, for that to be played, you'd have to have some kind of mid-range Hunter, and I don't think mid-range Hunter is going to be that good. Toxmonger, however, I am super excited by. Like, Toxmonger gives me hope that Quest Hunter could actually be a thing. I am so hyped for Quest Hunter because of this card. Like, it's probably gonna be the first day I play when the expansion comes out. Because it's just so powerful, especially when using like Elven Archer. You can use Stone Tusk Boar, and then combined with all the other one drops you're gonna be playing in that type of deck, like Firefly, Glacial Shard, etc. I am hyped.
How do you win though? Like, how do you win with a deck like that when it's not like a Bagu deck or anything? Like
you play Carnasa and you put all your Raptors in your deck, and then you charge them all with Rhino. Like, it's decent. And I think Rexar, they're changing the Zombie hero power, right, so that you can use all the newer beasts, I think.
Oh, right. Yeah, that makes sense.
And so that's going to make the Hunter Death Knight
wow.
crazy.
There can be
so many more. Like, you're going to be able to have like rush minions.
Wow. Yeah.
Which is pretty cool. And there's now beasts that can like heal you. But also, as well as Toxmonger, what's he called? Is it Houndmaster Shaw?
Yeah, dude, I love that card.
3/6.
Yeah, that card is bonkers. I think that's one of the best cards in the set. So it's gonna be really fun to see how we can do that.
Okay, yeah. All right.
Question for Jackie. So, do you think the Baku strategy is just bad for Quest Hunter? Like, if you're gonna do Quest Hunter, don't even try and make it on. Is that what you're trying to say?
For Quest Hunter, yeah. I think if you like, similar to what Gaara was saying, I think if you're doing like an odd hunter, you want it to be like really aggressive, because like Quest Hunter doesn't. I feel like it doesn't really need the 3 damage hero power, because it's more about getting the wraps in your deck and just getting loads of minions.
Okay.
So yeah, I think Baku would be like a face hunter deck.
So what's your thoughts? What's your thoughts on traps and spellstones, and do those fall into place with these type of decks you're talking about, or this is completely a different route?
I think that would be completely different. Like, you could maybe make like Spell Hunter could still be a thing. Obviously, they're losing Barnes and Yusharaj and Cat Trick, but I think that's it.
It's pretty.
Instead of Barnes, obviously Barnes Yusharaj is absolutely bonkers. Yeah. But instead of that, you could play the 6 mana to my side or whatever it's called, and it's not like that much worse. So I think there's also hope for Spell Hunter to be a thing. I think Hunter will be maybe like a middle of the range class, that there's lots of different things we can try out in it.
Yeah, sounds like the flavor will be really good though, like very, very different. So whenever we see it, it'll be like almost meme moment type of thing, you know, when they show up in events and stuff like that. Yeah, so there's a question in the chat that's kind of interesting. What's going to happen with rush and charge? Like, what happens when you get rush and charge, like from a Zombeast? Is it the thing that you do second, or is it the thing that you do first? Like, I would
think that charge trumps rush.
Yeah,
right?
I would think
I would think
like,
so.
I mean, because rush, I feel like, has this delineation that you're not supposed to hit face. So
I think rush is stronger. The reason is that someone said is when a minion dies and gets resurrected and it has rush, you still can't attack with it.
Okay,
it's not like charge.
Oh, so like charge Devil Sword, like when people cube that, if it had rush, you would not be able to attack base still, right?
Wait, so say you have like Tundra Rhino on the board, and you play a rush minion, a rush beast, you can't attack face with that beast?
Because the text is you can't attack a hero this turn, right? Like, it's the effect.
Yeah, I see.
Like, no matter what.
No, that's
but it's not even a battle cry.
Okay, look, here's a good example: Tundra Rhino and Houndmaster Shot on the board at the same time. You play a beast. What happens?
I think nobody knows. Nobody knows, man.
It might be the second thing. Maybe you get rushed and then you get charged because you played Houndmaster before that. Oh man, we're gonna have to experiment. Day one, somebody tell me the answer, and then I'll.
It might be an ordering thing, though. I can see that actually. If you pick rush first, or if you pick charge first, something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe.
God.
Yeah, it could be the order. Yeah.
Yeah. Crazy. All right, let's move on. We've got Warrior next, and I've got 3 cards here, starting with actually I did them in reverse order for some reason. Festeroot Hulk, 5 mana. After a friendly minion attacks, gain +1 attack, and it's a 2/7. Rabid Worgen, 3 mana, 3/3 with rush, and then a Town Crier, 1 mana, 1/2. Battle Cry, draw a rush minion from your deck, and it's an epic. Festeroot was a rare. Rabid Worgen was a common card. Okay, so this these cards anything stick? I mean, Town Crier for me was just like the missing piece for a lot of like just the potential for a rush warrior or some kind of, you know, some type of warrior that can battle the board early on into mid game. So I like that card a lot. I think that card really makes the other rush cards have a lot more value too. The other ones, just I mean, what do you guys?
I think these three cover exactly like super broken, super garbage, and mediocre in that order.
Okay,
like
okay.
First...
Is this like pick one? Okay, which one is which? Okay, which one is which? Let's see.
I mean, the 5 mana card is, I think, completely unplayable. I wouldn't play it in any deck.
Okay, all right.
The Rabid Worgen is kind of like a 3 mana bash. It's kind of like around the same level. It gets blocked by Taunt, but you have like a body sometimes left over.
Okay.
Like you don't get the healing, but you have like it's kind of like okay. But the Town Crier, all I gotta say is like a 1 mana, 1/2 unnerved Navis Engineer for 1 mana is absolutely broken in a nutshell.
Yeah.
It's a warrior card. Warrior is not very good. Rush warrior, who knows? But it's a very broken card in a nutshell. Like the effect for 1 mana, it's super broken. Probably the best 1 mana card ever printed by far.
Ever printed?
Yeah,
the best
man.
1 mana card
Come
ever
on,
printed.
dude.
Whoa,
Are you
whoa,
serious?
whoa.
There's like
It's
a
not
lot
a
of good one
statement.
drops, man.
It is much better than Kobold Librarian, like on paper.
What about Mana
doesn't-
Worm?
like,
Is it
it draws
better
you
than
also
Tunnel
a good
Trog?
card.
Tunnel
Yeah.
Trog. Yeah.
And Mana
It
Worm?
draws you a good card. It draws you a good card, not just a bad card. Like drawing a rush card in Warrior will be good. Like
Get
drawing,
out of it.
Yeah. I
really
know.
good.
It's good.
It's-
No question
it's-
it's good. But
It's really
best?
good. It's the best card. It's the best one card, 1 mana control card.
Okay.
Not so much probably
Interesting.
like aggro card, but like control card. Best 1 mana control card for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, like if Rush Warrior is a thing, it's because of this card, essentially, right? Like that's
Mhm. Oh yeah, for sure. Like this card makes Rush Warrior much more consistent. You know, you drawing
Question is-
Darius, you drawing,
Yeah.
you know,
I'm
the
just
Wasp.
talking about the
you
card.
drawing- Yeah. It's
Yeah.
The
is
next one-
Rush Warrior gonna be good?
it makes the
I
weapon
don't-
draw too. Like it
I
makes
don't think Rush Warrior is going to be very good.
Okay.
I think Rush Warrior, like, it's got some really powerful cards, but a lot of the cards are good if your opponent has, like, Rush is only good if your opponent has minions to trade into.
Yeah.
If you're against a control deck, I think Rush is pointless, essentially, because they're not going to have minions on the board a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And so Rabid Worgens is going to be a 3-mana 3/3. You have to play for tempo. So my opinion is that Rush Warrior is going to be really good against aggro, but really bad against control.
Yeah.
Yep.
Agreed.
I have the same
Yeah.
problem is like the win condition of the deck. Like how do you actually kill your opponent? Against aggro, it's usually not that problematic because you do some minion trading, you get the board control, you win the game. But against control, how do you kill them? Like how?
You get the cannon tower thing, and you just just keep just shooting number 3 in the face. That's how you win. No, I'm just
I
kidding.
don't know. You'd probably have
Yeah,
to
there's-
add in some end game cards like Rom and
Yeah.
stuff, just for extra push at the end.
No, I think Rush Warrior is still missing. Like I think Warrior just generally is still missing win conditions, but I think this is a very solid start for something that wasn't even there before. You know, like we had Pirate Warrior. That was about the only minion based mid-range tempo type of strategy for Warrior. Now we're at least seeing some foundations for something that could be, not even so face-centric. Like it would still require a lot of fighting on the board and stuff, in the terms of Rush. But you're right. Against like more control-based decks, the value from Rush is like completely gone. Like there's nothing to attack. So you're literally missing out on stats because of that. And it's tough to recover,
Dragon Warrior was really strong,
Yep.
but Alliestrasza's champion was able to go face. Actually, did that cost 2 mana, or was that?
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
powerful,
Oh, wow.
ridiculously
So
powerful.
better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Like you also had Ragnaros. Like you had a lot of like this mid-rangey
Yeah.
minion are really lacking, which you really need right now.
Mhm.
But like I can see Warrior having the strongest turn 1, 2, 3. Like you get the weapon, right? You have this guy on 1, and you draw guaranteed a rush minion. So very likely you will have the follow-up as well. So very, very powerful curve. But then what do you do? Turn 5, turn 6, turn 7,
Yeah,
turn 8.
yeah. That's the missing thing. It's like we have all these cute cards at turn 8 and turn 7, and it's like they're cute, but we just need something just really good. Just like why don't you just give us something crazy good like you give some of the other classes. And that's kind of what we're missing right now. So once those kind of 6, 7, 8 turns fill out with really, really powerful cards, I think that we could be talking No, it's actually somebody in chat mentioned Frothing Berserk. Frothing Berserk would be great, like in this kind of rush thing
That's
too.
true.
Yeah, it would be buffed up like crazy.
Can I just say one thing, that if Fiery War Axe was not nerfed, this would stand a way better chance. I'm just throwing it out there.
the two weapons pretty good in the
What
rush
is the
type of
2/2?
thing. It death rattle +1/+1 to a rush minion.
Oh,
and it's
yeah,
a 2/2.
yeah. Okay.
That's a pretty good card actually.
Maybe you can play the Spellstone in this deck. We'll see. I have hopes.
I don't even remember what the Spellstone does. What does the warrior one do again?
When you equip weapons, you boost it and you make 5/5s.
Oh, right.
That could be the end game of the deck, because you will probably still play War Axe and you have this new 2-mana weapon. It might be that you will get the board and then you have that as a refill. Might be good enough.
Really?
I'm not giving up on the deck,
Okay.
and I think it has potential just because of the strong 1-2-3. That's like the foundation of every deck.
Yep, that's true. Okay, next up we've got looks like we got Druid here. And all right, we've got 3 cards. Starting with Druid of the Scythe, 3 mana, 2/2. This is like the first choose one card we've seen in a long time. Transform into a 4/2 with Rush or a 2/4 with Taunt. And then we've got a spell here, 3 mana, Ferocious Howl. Draw a card, gain 1 armor for each card in your hand, and then finish it out with a 5 mana Bewitched Guardian, rare card, Taunt, Battlecry, gain +1 health for each card in your hand, and it starts at a 4/1. All right, so I guess first off, we got this choose one card. It's, I mean, I guess it's kind of interesting. Not sure what kind of Druid it would fall or play well in, given that there's no delineation to tribe or anything. So it's either just a 4/2 rush, which you'd probably trade into something for 3 mana, or you're protecting maybe like a token Druid, something like that. I don't know, Jackie, what do you think? Is this kind of a token Druid type of
I'm not really excited by many of the cards Druid have got, to be fair.
Okay.
The Druid of the Scythe, I think, is better than it looks. Like a 3 mana 2/4 taunt is just bad. But a 3 mana 4/2 with Rush is actually pretty good. And then you have kind of like the flexibility where if you're against a more aggressive deck, you can go with the taunt instead. Ferocious Howl is basically a shield block, which is a good card. Obviously depends how many cards you got in your hand. And yeah, I'm honestly, Druid is the class that I'm kind of not excited about to play at all. Like, I'm definitely going to try some hand Druid type things, and I really like there's the 4 mana card that can flood your board with 1/1s based on how many cards you got in your hand. I'm really excited about that card. Other than that, not much to say about Druid.
All right, Allie, any excitement for Druid?
I'm excited to try hand Druid. I mean,
you sound so convinced.
What if it's really OP? Okay, and we're all just missing something here. No, I mean, it's really hard to tell at this point, but it definitely does have tools if the archetype will be good. I don't really like the Druid of the Scythe card, because I mean, I guess it is flexible, but I'd much rather be like, the 4/2 is probably going to die if you're trading it into something, and I'd rather run a swipe or something. But yeah, we'll see. I guess if hand Druid is good, but it's really hard to tell at this point. So I'm kind of up in the air with it all. Yeah,
I don't know. For me, hand Druid is nothing exciting for me, just because part of it is like very control feeling. Part of it is just like this. Okay, I can't start until turn 4, 5, and 6. So I guess I can get some power in the mid game like that, and hopefully be able to swing the game after I've given up turns 1, 2, and 3. And then things like filling the board just doesn't seem in line with having a bunch of cards in my hand too. So I don't know. It's still a little conflicting in my mind about how hand Druid will work, but I am kind of excited about Beast Druid. Like I have to admit. Because the one card that brings back a beast that died, and you're playing like 3/12s that come back as 3/12 taunts, and the card that you lose a health for every card you have in your hand, that starts at a 3/12, so it'll probably be like a 3/8 or a 3/7. But when you like summon it back, it comes back as a 3/12. I mean that's crazy strong. So I feel like there's at least something possibly there to build around. But
the 2 extra beasts that are worth mentioning are Giant Anaconda is still in the game. You can play this in like a big deck, and also the Tyrantos, obviously. 12/12 immune for 3 mana, pretty good.
Okay, yeah, I see. Yeah, Gaara, anything about Druid you like?
The most interesting thing about these 3 cards is probably the artwork. That the Druid of the like the Rush minion from the Druid of the Scythe looks like a Taunt minion, and the Taunt minion looks like a Rush minion. I think this is quite interesting. Yeah, like a Druid gets like a better shield block, which is kind of hilarious. The Druid turned out to be the class that has the most armor in the game, and not Warrior by far. Like Druid has so many ways to generate armor. It's ridiculous. Like you basically have, it's crazy. You can go like 200 armor now, probably.
But how do you win?
And yeah,
you know, it's like you can defend yourself all you want, but how do you win?
Exactly. This is the problem I have with the third card, with the hand Druid. What is your win condition? You will basically have 2 Twilight Drakes, 2 times this Jabroni, and 2 times Mountain Giant. Like, what is your actual win condition? What is your finisher? We don't have it in Druid. So,
yeah,
I don't know. It like Alliestrasza said, might be like the new broken class we all don't know about. We all don't know.
In 3 months.
Or 4 months. With Druid is, I think there is some potential for like an odd Druid to be a thing, because Druid has arguably the best upgraded hero power. Like getting 2 damage and 2 armor is like really, really huge. And I would probably play Druid of the Scythe in that type of the deck. Also, if you're using your hero power fairly often, then you're not using cards. So like the Bewitched Guardian, it might be easier to get it bigger, because on turn 2 you're going to be hero powering rather than playing a card, so you're holding cards back. So odd Druid's definitely something I'm going to be trying out.
Okay.
What I don't like. Okay, go.
Oh no, you go ahead.
I was actually thinking a lot about out decks and even decks today, and there's almost no class that you want to play those decks. The main reason for that is the decays. Like, you don't want to play the odd decks in classes that have good decays. Like Druid has Malfurion, right? It kind of is bad to build a deck around, you know, the basic hero power, and then you play Malfurion, and then you basically lose the entire value, and then you play this Baku, which is like a bad card. And the only deck which I really saw that really wants to play it is Warrior, like the Quest Baku Warrior that has like a tank up. This is, yeah, I forget.
Okay. It's
I think at the end of the day with Druid, it still has UI, it still has Wild Growth, it has Oaken Summons, which is a great card, It's got Branching Paths, like it still has really good cards. So just for that reason alone, I feel like Druid might survive.
It just needs a win condition. Like I think I agree with you. It has all those support elements, you know, all those elements that make up a very powerful, you know, archetype or powerful class. It's just we need something to kill them with. Like Warrior too, same thing. It's like it's got quite a few support cards. It's just we need some way to win.
Is Hadronox not enough of a finisher? Probably not, right? It needs more than that.
Oh man,
I wanted to actually say that.
Be good.
It's like Astro Tiger. So like Astro Tiger is really good, but you need Nizov. Like I played the deck so much.
It's so slow. If it was an 8-drop, it would be so good. It's a 9-drop though, which it makes it so much awkward. Yeah, it's so awkward because of that.
I almost hope the Druid isn't good. I feel like Druid's just been one of the best classes for so long. It's always been in the meta somewhere. I don't think Druid has never been the worst class. I think it might be Druid's time. It might be Druid's time.
Okay, yeah. All right, yeah. Time in the doghouse. Yeah. Okay. Well, we got Paladin next here. And we got 7 cards here, so quite a few. We got I'm not sure I can read that on my screen here. Okay, we got Hidden Wisdom, which is a new secret. Epic. After your opponent plays 3 cards in a turn, draw 2. Paragon of Light, 3 mana, 2/5 minion, rare. While this minion has 3 or more attack, it has Taunt and Steal. And then another minion. This is the legendary, one of the 2 legendary minions. 4 mana, 4/3, the Glass Knight. Divine Shield. Whenever you restore health, gain Divine Shield back. You know, kind of thing. 5 mana, Ghostly Charger, common. This is 3/4 Beast, Divine Shield Rush. Oh, actually, I have the Druid card in here. What the heck? Okay, that's why I got screwed up. Okay, well, it's my bad.
I was waiting for you to get to that.
I was like, oh man.
Yeah, I was about to say
my colorblindness, even though I'm not colorblind. No, Prince Liam is a legendary 5 mana, 5/5 Battlecry, transform all 1-cost cards in your deck into legendary minions. Yes. 8 mana, another Paladin weapon, Silver Sword, 3/4. After your hero attacks, give your minions +1/+1. Okay, so lots of variety here in the type of cards that Paladin's seeing. And none of these things, I would say, except for maybe the warrior, or at least the weapon, kind of supports, your aggro paladin type of, archetype. So clearly they're trying to get away from it. And I would even make an argument that a lot of things like Rush and other mechanics like that they've added to this expansion have been very anti-Silverhand Paladin. So I feel like that's going to be pretty much stuffed this time around. But anything here kind of you guys see as potential? Allie, you see anything here that could be something that Paladins can grab hold of?
My favorite of these would be the Glass Knight, I think. I like this card. It's just kind of figuring out where it would really fit. Overall, I'm not really impressed with any of them. But yeah, I'd say the Glass Knight would be my favorite. Prince Liam's interesting. Obviously, you could be running secrets. It's 1-cost cards, though, which is much better than spells, because I initially thought it was just spells. But I don't know. It seems so random. I don't know if Liam can be. Yeah, Liam can be good here.
Liam's one of those cards where it's like a good concept of having the ability to change your deck from an aggro deck to something that all of a sudden can be it's something of high value deck. It allows you kind of switch gears, but it's just so, it's like a legendary, so it doesn't come very often, and you having to rely on that. And switching
gears even good at that point. Yeah, like if you're an aggro deck, you probably just want to be an aggro
just
deck.
Go aggro. Just go. Yeah.
Just want to kill them.
Yeah, right. So that's kind of the it's a cool concept. I just don't know if it would ever be good. Because it's just inconsistent that way. So Hidden Wisdom, like, what do you guys think of that card? Because that card, I think a lot of people have different opinions on. I think one side of the boat is, you draw 2 cards. That's amazing, right, from a secret. But then the other side is like, how many times do we actually play 3 cards in a turn? And how hard is that really to play around? So yeah, thoughts on that, Gaara? Any thoughts on Hidden Wisdom? Like, do you think it's good, bad?
It's more like, what kind of deck would you play such a card in? Like, I don't see a place for such a card. So like, it doesn't. Yeah. It's like, okay. I don't think it's that common actually that people. I think people are overestimating the fact that, or like, they're like misjudging how many cards you play per turn. You don't actually. Not that many decks play that many cards per turn. Usually you curve out, right? You play a 1-drop on 1, a 2-drop on 2, a 3-drop. Like, when do you start playing 2 cards per turn? And then when you're gonna start playing 3 cards per turn? It's actually not that common. Not every deck is a Miracle Rogue.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it's like if you play against a Spiteful deck, he will rarely play 2 cards in the same turn. So basically, imagine you never get value out of this card. So it's basically a completely dead card. I think it's not good.
Pretty easy to play around. Like, and you play 2 cards and hero power. That's a pretty good turn.
Like, you play a minion, you attack, and then you know exactly what it is.
Yeah, true.
And then you will never. Yeah.
You could burn cards too. I think it's easy to play around, and they could also decide to burn you if they wanted to, if you had enough cards in hand. But then again, like, what deck would this be in that you would have that many cards in your hand? I don't even know. I think it's bad.
I think it's only interesting from Hydrologist, obviously. If you get it for free,
right? I agree.
Then it's pretty good.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think if your opponent kind of, like, you can say it's easy to play around, but at the same time, if you're forcing them to only play 2 cards a turn, you can make them do kind of weaker turns than they want to be doing. I think if this card does, like, I don't think there's a deck you're going to play this card in unless you play some kind of secrety Paladin with the new 4-drop that has Battlecry, put a secret in the battlefield, and Death Rattle, put a secret in the battlefield. And I feel like if Prince Liam sees play, that would be the type of deck it is, because your deck's just going to be a load of trashy secrets, and so you can play maybe like a mid-rangey secret Paladin with Prince Liam in, but is that deck going to be any good? I doubt it.
Right.
In fact, I don't really think any of these cards really suit many current archetypes of Paladin, but I do really like the Glass Knight. I think the Glass Knight's pretty cool.
Yeah. So in terms of the Glass Knight, I mean, I know we have another card that helps with healing in Paladin, but how many options are there to heal with Paladin? Because so Ragnaros is gone.
There's a 3-mana 2/4 Elemental. I think that's a card, right? It restores health to your hero.
Yeah, I mean, you have True Silver Champion.
No, True Silver Champion. That's a good one. Yeah, that's a good one. And then we probably have some like 1 and 2 drops where you can heal. Like the Death Knight.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay.
But to be honest, I'm not convinced that any kind of like lifestealy Healy Paladin is going to be good. Like Paladin has a lot of good healing cards, but they've just they just don't really compete for the like really powerful cards. Paladin has like Tarim and Tyrion and stuff. So yeah, I don't think a healing Paladin will be a thing.
What about a control Paladin? Like, would you ever just play the Glass Knight for like board control and some kind of a control Paladin? I mean, it doesn't really curve into a steed, so that wouldn't work either. Lynessa's still strong.
Yeah,
I think.
I wrote down for Paladin to have like the most potential different archetypes, because if you look at the cards Paladin gets, it's all over the place. I feel like every single card is for a different archetype. Like they're boosting like a mysterious buff Paladin with the bell. They're giving cards to the quest Paladin also with the bell. Like they're buffing like secret Paladin, whatever that is supposed to be. Even Paladin, a lot of people are talking about. Even Paladin is supposed to be good because the hero power. It's pretty good for like a dude Paladin, whatever this is supposed to be. A lot of people are talking about Spiteful Paladin because Spiteful is getting buffed, and you can already build a Spiteful Paladin. And yeah, there's Odd Paladin, and then there's Dragonadin because Paladin is getting the best 2-drop in the game, but we don't have dragons. So what is that supposed to be?
Yeah.
And then we have Aggro Paladin, which is already an existing deck that might, in my opinion, be a very good deck, and it will be one of the best decks in the game.
I mean, to talk about these cards, like I actually like Paragon of Light. Like I think there might not be anything that exists like right now, like an archetype that's like you can build very efficiently around that card. But I mean, for one, I like the design, just the fact that if it goes over like a certain attack, it changes its value completely. And then you can change it back, like somehow if you Aldor it or something like that. But I think it fits well with Blessing of Kings. I think if you seeded this thing, it would be really good too. And a 2/5 at 3, we've seen at times with Grub and things like that, been able to stick around at that. So as long as there's like a solid buff, like like Paladin has at 4, then this card actually can be really solid for the class.
Yeah, the stats are good, right?
Yeah.
So if there is some kind of a buff, what's the one to the...
Yeah, the bell, right? You can
the bell,
bell
right?
it
So if there is some kind of buff Paladin, I feel like this would be included in there, right?
Yeah.
By the way, the sword is also super strong. I think it's a bit...
Yeah, let's talk about the sword. Yeah, because Silverhand Paladin, without stand against darkness and without the Steward, definitely losing some very, very key things. But Murloc Paladin's still around. Is this thing too slow, you think, or you think it's going to be fine at 8?
It's always good though, if you think about it, in any deck. Like if you have anything on the board, I think this might be like a semi-win condition. Like a control Paladin will have Stonehill Defenders, Hero Power, whatever. Always like some minions on the board, and as soon as you buff them once, they're like big threats. And buffing in general is super strong in the game, and this buffs everything you have on the board. It's just such a huge threat having this weapon, like equipped.
Yeah.
Like you always have to clear everything.
That's a good point. I mean,
I don't see the deck yet, but
is it better than Vine Cleaver though? Like if you're running an expensive Paladin weapon, I feel like Vine Cleaver is just better because you get your 1/1s, and this requires it's conditional. You need something on the board. It is more damage. I mean, it's 12 damage overall, but I think that I'd rather run Vine Cleaver.
Yeah, I think I agree with Ali. I think Silver Sword, Dude Pally has the Dude Pally that we've seen recently has floods the board over and over again, and they just have a load of 1/1s. And this card would actually be pretty nice in that type of deck because sometimes they're struggling to push through extra damage, and this can just give them so much extra damage. But because we're losing like Rallying Blade, and we're losing the Stand Against Darkness, summoning all the 1/1s, we're losing Steward of Darkshire, which makes help your 1/1 stickier. I feel like it's going to be harder to get a sticky Paladin board. So it feels slightly too slow for me.
I think the actual 3 attack is a problem too for me. It just doesn't kill anything. I mean, we've seen a 3 attack, from the warrior card, the legendary weapon, and that recruits something, and that's been when I played with it, it was so ineffective, and I love the recruit, but it was so bad as a weapon that I just had no impact on it. So yeah, I mean, I know what you mean by that, Gaara. It's always going to get great if you can buff even your hero power 4 times. It's pretty, like crazy good, and you're going to be able to buff a lot more than that. But it's just so late, though.
I don't think it's a problem to get value out of this card, because you can just equip the weapon and then play stuff and then buff the stuff. The problem with Paladin is you have too many expensive weapons: Tyrion, Uther, Vinecleaver. It's
I'm
like
not
all
even
in that.
playing Tyrion right now. How crazy!
And you have the 6-mana legendary weapon as well, but you don't even
That's
play
crazy.
because you have so many.
Yeah.
I mean, you could maybe play this in a mid-range Paladin as like a one-off, but you're gonna have to be playing a lot of minions, because I mean the cool thing about it is that you can equip it, attack with it, and then the next turn, even if you have no board, play loads of minions and attack with it and get the buff. But you have to have enough minions to be able to do this and actually get the value out of it. Otherwise, there's no point playing it.
Yeah, agreed. Okay, well, let's move on to our next class, which is the Priest. Yeah. Oh man, Priest is like so big it's overflowing. There you go. Man, Priest got some pretty cool cards here. Starting with a Divine Hymn, 2 mana, restore 6 health to all friendly minions. Another 2 mana card that's a minion, Squashling, Echo, Battlecry, restore 2 health, and it's a 2/1 body. And then we've got a common Quartz Elemental, which is a 5 mana, 5/8 elemental, can't attack while damaged. And then lastly, a rare 7 mana, 4/9 dragon, that's Nightscale Matriarch. Whenever a friendly minion is healed, summon a 3/3 whelp. Okay, so man, where to start here? These are lots of interesting cards, or just good ones. Do we just start with the best one, which is, we maybe start on the left? Divine Hymn. Okay, so why don't we start there? Anybody want to go with this one?
I personally don't think that officially a card that just heals is good enough in Hearthstone anymore. That's what I think. Like we have so many crazy good healing cards that just heal, that are just not good. If you look at cards like Healing Rain, and there's so many cards just heal that are just not good enough if you only heal. And this is just a crazy powerful heal card. I'm not sure if it's good enough. It's so hard for Priest to get any board. We don't really have board-centric Priest decks besides like Spiteful Priest, and you would not play this in Spiteful Priest. So obviously this card is made with the new dragon, Nightscale Matriarch, but that, I don't know, that seems like really like something maybe Jakey would play.
I mean,
I would play
I kind of agree
would
with you on
definitely
this.
play.
I think Divine Hymn is just worse than Circle of Healing. Like,
100% agreed.
I would much rather have the tempo of having 0 mana and having a little bit less health. Plus, Circle of Healing has the benefit of being able to, combine with Orc Knight to damage enemy minions, and it can heal enemy minions to give you card draw. Like, Divine Hymn, there's situations where it's going to be good, but it's only good when you have a lot of damaged minions on the board. And is it often going to be easy to do that? No, I don't think so.
Well,
It's like, it looks good, but it's not good.
well, I
Like,
actually think so. I think Divine Hymn is good against aggro decks. Like in a position where the priest is outnumbered on the board, his one guy is getting damaged, and it's a matter of like, okay, restore my health a little bit, and then just give me some time to like take over the board. And I don't know if that's going to be good in the future, like this coming expansion, given that aggro doesn't, I'm not sure what aggro looks like in this coming expansion, but no question it's good. I mean, at least value wise, it's kind of insane. So if more like Injured Blade Masters and things like that start popping up, in the future expansions, this card's crazy. I do agree that Circle of Healing is better in terms of like Nightscale Matriarch, in executing whatever you would do with that. But Divine Hymn's value is just, it's like a waiting for, whatever, like a Light Warden or some, crazy, type of tempo thing like that, like to happen again with Pyromancer and shit.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think it could definitely see play in some early tempo decks that are playing like clerics and Radiant Elemental and Ninja Blaze Master and that type of early minion based priest deck that might even play like Divine Spirit and a Fire in as well.
Yeah.
The card I'm most excited about of these is actually probably Nightscale Matriarch. What do you guys think to this guy?
Oh my god, it's awesome.
I think it's great.
And it's a rare. It's not even a legend. You can play 2 of these guys if you wanted to. So, I don't know. What do you think, Allie? Yeah.
I mean, it's a dragon. It's good. I like it. No.
Yes.
I think it can
please.
be really strong. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, Priest is losing a few dragons like Operative that make it super powerful, but the fact that it's getting a few more, I think that means that the Dragon Priest can still exist.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it still can exist. Yeah. I think Matriarch with, I mean, I even think Quartz Elemental to an extent too. With Lady in White, with, you know, the combo priest, and that's another thing where Divine Hymn's good, because like if you throw down minions that have a lot of health and they know you're playing, you know, combo priest, it's not easy to damage everything, you know, like damage a ton of health that way, or just like fully remove it. Divine Hymn gives you that option of just like healing your minion all the way and then finishing, you know, whatever type of combo for, you know, like to get just enough damage to finish your opponent. So yeah, I think that Nightscale gives you options in both of those categories. Lady in you know, it's Lady in White, right? Lady in White, as well as just, you know, having your typical Divine Spirit Inner Fire type of thing. You can play 2 of these too, so that's like really, really nice. Well, yeah, Jackie, what do you think? Like, you're excited?
Yeah, I think it seems really, really strong. I mean, I think one of the main things is the fact that that activates Duskbreaker, and with, like Ali said, with a lot of dragons being gone, that's really important, because Duskbreaker is obviously completely broken. But yeah, what I like most about this is the 9 health. Like the fact it's got 9 health, it's quite likely to stick around. If you can't deal with it, it can keep getting 3/3s over and over again. Like, I think this card's gonna be good.
Pyro, Powered Shield, Circle, Healing, Dreams. Like patron like dreams over and over again. That'd be pretty sweet. What do you guys think of Quartz Elemental? I mean, if you compare this to like Razorfen, it looks like really, really bad, but you know, you can still silence it, do all that good stuff with it, and you know, it's a 5/8 for 5. I mean, is that really that bad? I mean, that's
personally, I don't think it's good enough. I think, like, if you had like a 5-mana 5/6, like you wouldn't play that card. A 5-mana 5/7, you might play that card, but this is only 1 more health than that, and it can't attack when it's damaged. I don't think I'd play this card.
Would you damage this card? I mean, obviously, do you damage it? No, but no, that's what I like about this card. It actually gives your opponent a dilemma. Like, it has to hit this thing. This thing is 5 health unless it pings it, you know, unless you're a mage or something, right? And even if you ping it, I just heal it like the next turn, and I just hit you again with it. So it creates this kind of interesting decision making, I think, for your opponent. But I don't know. I feel like I'm in a very big minority thinking this card is interesting, because a lot of people think it's trash.
What kind of deck would you put it in? Like an Elemental Priest or a Lady in White? Like,
it's definitely Lady in White, and it would be along the lines of like Divine Spirit Inner Fire combo kind of thing. With, yeah.
I think the problem is you're gonna have to heal it up like too many times. Like I think like playing it and then like attacking with it once and using like a circle or a Divine Hymn and healing it up again, attacking with it again is decent, but you can't do that every single turn. You've only got a limited amount of spells and
sure.
Yeah.
All right, Squashling. How about this? As basically a heal card, but it gives you bodies every time you heal. It's kind of cool. What do you guys think?
It's bad.
Bad? You think it's bad? Okay. All right.
Is
it just bad? All right. It's just bad. I mean, again, isn't against an aggro deck, isn't it good? I mean, it's no.
Yeah, but what deck would you be putting it in though? Like it might be good against aggro, but
that's what I mean. I mean, I'm not saying against like, yeah, because I mean you're healing and you're putting bodies on the board. Like, isn't that good?
2/1 bodies. Have you faced the aggro decks these days?
Yeah. Sure.
What do you know what they do to a 2/1 2 drop?
Yeah, sure. Divine Shield, just kill it. But
I mean, it could be interesting with like in the The thing is, I think a lot of the time you're going to want to get this in the late game. Like you're going to want this in the get this in the late game when you've drawn like Cleric and use this to draw loads of cards, or when you've got Nightscale Matriarch, you can use this to get multiple 3/3s. But I think it's just a bit too feels a bit too quirky for me. People have been talking about using it with Orkney, but that doesn't seem good enough to me. Really, like you can just Orkney Hero Power on turn 6, and
Okay.
I'm not that excited by this card.
Okay, let's see. What's the next class we got here? We got
why don't you talk about the best card? What the fuck? I think you're like.
What do you mean?
Coffin Crusher?
Oh, Coffin Crusher's not on here. Oh, it's not on my. It's not on this thing. Oh, sorry, it's not on my notes.
It's by far the best.
Coffin Crusher, yes. Oh my god,
really
like what? I almost skipped Coffin Crusher. It's 6 mana, 6/5, rare.
What the
It's
fuck?
Coffin Crusher.
It's the best card.
Death rattles. Yeah, summon a death rattle minion from your hand. It's on the overlay. I had to update it.
It's like you don't mention it at all. It's like let's move on. It's like how can you talk about this guy?
Yes. Okay, go for it.
It's the best card from all the priest cards.
Okay,
I think it's better than Lady in White, and I think this is the replacement for the dragons for Draconic Operative. This is kind of like the new value route you have to go for in Control Priest.
Okay.
I've seen also Zettelot being excited about this card. Mana Cheat is good from what we've seen in the history of Hearthstone. Mana Cheat, every single Mana Cheat card was played, and this card is pretty damn good Mana Cheat, especially with Obsidian Statue.
Yeah.
And it has great synergy with the new Curator. The new Curator is better than the old Curator. It's a 7 mana 6/6. And with the Countless Ashmore, you can guarantee to get like a Coffin Crusher and Obsidian Statue, because Obsidian Statue is a lifesteal minion. So you have the guaranteed combo. I'm pretty sure, and I'm very excited to test it and see how well it is. Like how strong
it's
it
insane.
is.
I mean, the value is crazy good for those cards you just mentioned right there. So in terms of Death Rattle, what else would you play besides Obsidian Statue?
The Bone Drake, for instance.
Oh,
it's
okay.
so you can combine like maybe the Dustbreaker as well in the deck, and I just wonder how greedy the deck will look, because if you play Bone Drake, you want to play more dragons. Maybe you play Twilight Drake's Bone. You want to play around 7 dragons. I don't think you can play Nightscale. It would be just too greedy, the deck. But what I'm a little bit worried is like the late game, because you have Nunes off. Can you play a quest priest? Because it actually seems to be very easy to complete the quest. Also with the new free drop, the Voodoo Doll, which has also Death Rattle effect, which is also, by the way, one super exciting card. It seems very easy to just complete the quest priest, like the quest, because a lot of these cards you play good Death Rattle minions.
But wouldn't you make your draw worse then? Like if you have to play enough Death Rattle to, I don't know, like to complete the quest, you'd have to play what, 10 Death Rattle?
7. Yeah, but yeah.
I mean, you have to play more than exactly the right amount, right?
I think Death Rattle Priest will be strong, but I don't think you need to run the quest, honestly.
No, I'm just saying you could.
You could.
Okay, sure.
But you probably want Mind Control. I think Mind Control will still be a good card, and that will be like your late game for Priest. So I'm not too worried about like Priest late game. Just run 2 Mind Controls with Shadow Vision's easy clapper. 6
mana is just so good to Priest, man. It's like ridiculous.
Imagine like this dying and you get Obsidian Statue. Like Death Rattle get Obsidian Statue on the board. It's so crazy good.
Well, imagine on turn 4, or turn 4, coining out an Obsidian Statue. That's what we've had in the past, at least with big Priest.
Like, this could have Death Rattle get a Cairn. If you think about it, a Cairn Death Rattle get a Cairn.
Cairn, okay.
Like, the value is so insane.
Yeah, this card's crazy.
Yeah, I think that probably maybe highest rated card in all of the expansion. This might be up there. It's far up there actually. I think
another problem, but a big problem about this deck will be that Dragonfire Potion rotates out and Horror rotates out as well. So can Priest like survive against aggro decks will be a big question.
It has Psychic Scream. What AoE is it working with right now?
You can play Organized Circle.
Organized
Circle still. Psychic Scream.
Dustbreaker. I think is that it?
But you'd have to do the dragon build.
Early Nova Kappa.
Yeah.
Can you believe people used to play that card? Oh my god.
I mean, in the regular play, it's not bad.
A year and a half ago or something, people were playing that card. Yeah, it's kind of crazy now that we've seen the power level of stuff. Okay, well, I think that does it for Priest. After talking about Coffin Crusher, we got Shaman next. All right, Shaman's got some a lot of cards all across the board here. And starting with Zap, it's 0 mana, deal 2 damage to a minion. Overload 1. And then Blazing Invocation, it's a spell, 1 mana rare, discover a Battlecry minion. Next minion is a Ghost Light Angler. That's Echo 2/2, 2 mana Murloc. And then Earthen Might. See, 2 mana, spell, rare, give a minion +2/+2. If it's an elemental, add a random elemental to your hand. 3 mana Blink Fox, 3/3.
That's Rogue.
Oh, is that Rogue?
Yeah,
oh my god.
Rogue.
I am just like completely blind
Shen,
today.
come on.
What am I doing? My god, okay, I'm gonna have to like oh man. I was trying to do this, like trying to get these together, like, and obviously I'm pretty blind there. We're gonna have to talk about Blink Fox whenever Rogue comes around. And then Totem Cruncher, so 4 mana, 2/3 beast, epic taunt, Battlecry, destroy your totems, gain +2/+2 for each destroyed. And then lastly, but not least, 9 mana Shudderwock. Legend 6/6. The new meme master himself. Battlecry, repeat all other battle cries from cards you've played this game. Targets chosen randomly. Okay. So, I think we've got lots of... I mean, we got 3 spells and we got 3 minions here. So, why don't we save Shudderwock for the end? How about these other ones? Anybody like Zap and, basically Shaman backstab kind of thing?
Yeah,
like
I think Zap's really good. I think one of the problems with Shaman at the moment is that their early game is really weak. And so Zap can kind of help them not fall too far behind in the early game. And because they don't have the Tunnel Trog and Tome Golem like they used to. Like, even like when Evolve Shaman was a thing, people are playing like Fireflies and these like Pirates, and Pirates aren't even good anymore. So
yeah.
I think Zap is going to be pretty good. And one interesting thing about these cheap spells is that they also have the new Bog Shaper.
No, that was Allie's card, right? Yeah.
No, that was Patch's
card.
card.
Patch's card, yes.
And yeah, Shaman doesn't have very good card draw, so it'd be interesting if these 2 cheap, like Zap and Blazing Invocation, if they could start potentially see some play with Bog Shaper. It could be interesting.
Yeah, that's a good point. You don't think the Overload's too bad, though? You don't think the Overload's too much?
No.
Nah.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Nah.
Hagatha's hero power, is it after you cast a... Oh, no, it's after you play a minion.
You get a spell.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
It's the opposite of the Bog Shaper, yeah.
Right.
Mm.
No, I think Jackie's right. Like, Shaman is losing a lot of its early game. Like, it won't have Jade Claws. It's not going to have Maelstrom Portal to kind of control the board. So Zap could definitely help in the early stages until you can get to your Volcano or Lightning Storm, whatever.
So is this good enough to like play things like Unbound Elemental, Overload, like the Giant, and I mean, can we even talk about an Overload type of deck, or everything else is just too bad? What do you think, Gar? Good enough or no?
I think from all these cards, the only one besides obviously the Shuttershock is the Zap that could potentially be played. It is actually in the deck you were talking about. There's Snow Fury Giant.
Mm-hmm.
You don't think Earthen Might could be played?
Earthen Might's good. I like it too.
I think the problem with that is, okay, we need to keep in mind 2 things when we look at these cards. Shaman is currently the weakest class in the game, by far, like bottom tier. And Shaman is losing a lot of its good cards. Shaman is losing the Evolve, Doppelgangster, all these cards. Shaman is losing Jade Claws and Jade Lightning, which were like the only good anti-aggro tools. Shaman has like nothing, and this is the replacement we have. So Elemental Shaman was already now not good enough versus aggro with the Jade Claws and stuff. And I don't think such a deck could beat anything. Like the new Elemental Shaman. This card is very good. I like this 2 mana card. But I don't think Elemental Shaman is good enough. That's all we have. I don't think it's good enough. I'm pretty sure. We lose too much. Shaman loses too much.
Quest Murloc Shaman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the 2/2 is actually not that bad, but I just don't think it has the right tools.
Do we still have anything to buff it though? Like, I mean, that's all rotated out, right? Like, anything is awesome, and I guess we could run Megasaur. I'm not sure what we could run with the Shaman Murloc, but there's still a lot of Murlocs, yeah, for Shaman that we could play. I don't know. Earthen Might for me is like, it's like Marco Yasharaj for Druid. It's great to play on the Firefly. That's a great turn, right off the bat. So I think it's a good base. Yeah. Do they need removal? Sure they do. Like they need something to replace Portal. They need, you know, like Lightning Storm doesn't cut it these days for sure. It's like far from cutting it these days. And you know, Volcano's not great either later. So if they add one, if they add something like that, you know, maybe in the next expansion, not this expansion, then I think we're talking Elemental would actually be pretty good.
But like another thing is really that the Ancestral Shaman doesn't lose that much. You didn't play J-Claws and Jade Lightning in that deck. Yeah, I played the deck a lot also.
Wow. Okay.
You were playing like Doomsayers and stuff, and like all the board clears. You still have most of them. You only lose Maelstrom, and Maelstrom was not that important. The only really big card you're missing is Devolve, because that is also rotating out.
Yeah.
I don't know how important that is, because it was oftentimes you went Devolve into Lightning Storm, because that is like you had to do something with the Lightning Storm. You don't have consistent spell power. You usually need something with Lightning Storm. It as a standalone is just not good enough. And not having Devolve really hurts, I think, because Shaman has so little. The only replacement is Zap, really. But it's very good, though, because you were missing good Overload cards.
Yeah.
Shaman actually doesn't have any really good Overload cards, like just few. And having like a flexible, actually a 1-mana Overload card is really good. Because the best Overload cards are usually 2 Overload. And having, like, you want to play 2 Overload plus 1 Overload or 3 Overload cards.
Yeah.
And most 3 Overload cards are bad. And most 1 Overload cards are also bad. So you only have Yinshu as a good 1 Overload card. Also like Lightning Bolt, which is not that great. And having that is actually good for the deck. But the deck is right now tier 4. So, yeah.
Okay.
Like a tier 4 deck gets Zap and loses 2 good cards.
Yeah.
So...
Telling it how it is.
Exactly. And Totem Cruncher for me is so disappointing, man. Like, I feel like Shaman needed a card like this, but the stats just don't. Remember the cards we revealed, like the last card release, guys? You know, with all the totems and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like we needed something that synergized with Totem, and this was kind of it. But then it was like it's a 2/3 that needs like two buffs for this to be good. So that was kind of a bummer for me, like seeing that card. All right, Shudderwock. Let's just kind of move through this a little bit. All right, who wants to talk about the epic memes here? Shudderwock. Jaggy, you want to start?
I mean, I'll let someone else talk about it, because there is so many crazy things you can do with this card.
Yeah.
It's just so reminiscent of Yogg, right? Like it was either, oh, it's going to be great, or it's going to be a total meme. And it actually wound up being really great, right? At least in the beginning. So it's sort of where I'm at with it.
For me, I just can't believe they made this card. Like, I'm still like recovering from the fact that this card even exists, because, you know, I mean, even creating that scenario that they wanted us to see on the stream, which was like, there's this never-ending possibility for Shudderwock. You getting it and you playing it, and it copies itself and it plays. I mean, it's actually crazy that you can even do that. So the real question is, you know, they've shown it to us. It's very obvious at this point. You know, they didn't even let us try to even find this. Is this even good? Because, you know, Gaara, you were talking about this pre-show. This is the difference between Shaman actually being viable or not. It's on this one card. This one card makes or breaks the class right here.
Not just the class, which is crazy, the entire game. I made like an entire spreadsheet about all the classes. Honestly, because this will counter Warlock, like hard counter, if it's good. And this is like, it changes then the entire meta pretty much. If it really comes down to if this card is bad, Shaman is completely unplayable. And if it's really good, you have a deck that hard counters Warlock, which is currently like on paper the strongest class in the game. And if you play a lot of Shaman, you will play way less Warlock. You will put like everything will be all over the place.
Yeah.
Like it really comes down to if the deck with this card is good or not. And
why do you think it hard counters Warlock?
Yeah, what exactly? Yeah.
Because it's an OTK. It's a guaranteed OTK.
Yeah.
It deals 30 damage, which is very good. Obviously, you win the game.
Yeah, 30 damage is good. Yeah. It's extreme.
No, it's actually 57 damage.
57? How's that work?
Yeah. You play like Murmuring Elemental with 9 Shatter Shocks at the same time.
Yeah, the problem I have with this card is that for this card to be good, your whole deck has to be based around it. Mm-hmm. And the games where you don't draw this card, your deck is just bad. I don't think Shaman really has enough tools to kind of survive to it consistently, as well as the card draw. I think card draw is a big problem. You're going to be needing to play a decent amount of card draw to consistently get this. And so I don't think this card's going to be good.
I mean, it almost has to not be good. Yeah. Allie, you're gonna say that?
I'm in the middle. I can see it going either way. It could be OP, like Gaara said. It has the potential to be, or it could just be utter crap.
I mean, I hope it's utter crap, which actually sucks for Shaman, but there is a chance that it just hasn't been tested enough.
I've seen the list.
Somebody
the
finds
lists
it.
are
Yeah.
looking good, honestly.
Yeah,
I like
Stan has one that's really good actually, and I would not be surprised if something
like
slips
combo.
through and it's just like something ridiculously good ends up existing. I just hope it's not too good. Yeah.
Murmuring Elemental, like that's a brand, right? That was always good.
Yeah.
And then I also think Grumble is an insane card. So
Just never-ending plays, basically.
Look, like if that combo works, like I don't think it's bad for the game if you think about it. Shaman is so bad, like in so many ways. Shaman has the worst anti-aggro
Yeah, but this isn't the answer. The answer isn't having just one card define a class. Like that doesn't fix a class. That's actually just a terrible band-aid in my opinion. So I don't like that if that's literally what we're looking at.
What I like about it is that it's a win condition. It's an alternative win condition.
Yeah, it is a win
It's
condition.
Like, how many win conditions did we get in this expansion besides this card? Actual win conditions.
Yeah, I mean, most of it is minion centric, right? Like battle board minion stuff.
minions.
So this is the only new one. Okay, well, let's keep going, guys. We still got a bunch to go here. So Rogue, actually we got to talk about. Actually, let's talk about Blink Fox first while we're on the Shaman page. So Blink Fox is a 3-mana 3/3 beast. Add a random card to your hand from your opponent's class. Okay, so they clearly have that theme, right? Like because we have a card that we're about to show here, which is Tess Greymane, that 8-mana 6/6 battle cry. Replay every card from another class you've played this game and targets chosen randomly. Kind of feels a little Shudderwock-ish, right? But it's its own flavor of doing that. And then 3-mana Cutthroat Buccaneer, 2/4 pirate combo. Give your weapon +1 attack. All right. So what do you guys think?
I think all three of these cards are very good. Blink Fox is just a kind of standalone good card. Not really much to say about it. A 3/3 card that's adding a card to your hand is great. And Tess Greymane, for me, Tess Greymane is the kind of going to be my kind of replacement for Yogg. Like Tess Greymane feels more like Yogg to me than Shudderwock. I think, especially because you know what cards you're going to be getting. Obviously, they're going to be random cards that you've created throughout the game. So every game it could be completely different. But as long as you're just paying attention to what cards you're actually playing, you know pretty much what Tess Greymane is going to do, other than some cards which are obviously like targetable. But I'm really excited to play some kind of Tess Greymane deck and play like Hallucination, and you have the new 2-mana Echo card that can create cards from other classes.
Yeah.
And Tess Greymane can be like a massive. I mean, it could be essentially like an Azoth type thing where if you've played lots of cards, you can flood the board. It can, and because you're creating cards from a different class. Obviously, it's going to be terrible against Rogue because when you're against Rogue, you're only stealing Rogue cards, and so
that's true.
But you can just get so many things that Rogue can't normally do. Like you can get heal, and I'm super excited for Tess Greymane. Also, Cutthroat Buccaneer is very, very good.
I just think it's because it's so bad in the mirror. I don't think the deck could ever really be that great for that reason alone. And also, it just seems wildly inconsistent. So, like, I do think it's fun, but I can't see it being that good because of the inconsistency and the mirror.
I agree with Ellie. I think this is the biggest flaw of the mechanic, that it's bad in the mirror, that it doesn't work.
It doesn't work, right?
It doesn't, you can't create... there's no card you can create in the mirror from a different class, I think. In the game.
So maybe it's a deck you can play in events. Maybe not so much on ladder, but something you could pull out, right? So you can
ban Rogue.
Ban Rogue.
Would they really ban that deck? I mean,
exactly,
when you got a choice between like Warlock and that deck, are you really? I mean, I don't know.
if Rogue sucks and no one else is playing
right.
Rogue, then this could be great.
Exactly. This is like an underdog, like perfect underdog type of deck. Yeah. No, it sounds cool for sure. Cutthroat Buccaneer, you think it's just pretty much a good Kingsbane addition, or do you see some type of other tempo roguish type of thing this could be good in?
It seems always good.
Always good. All right.
It's a good free drop.
Okay.
It goes with the rogue hero power.
But you'd have to
Obviously-
hero power, right? Like you would have had to
But-
hero power.
But you always hero power is rogue. That's like a good turn 2 play for rogue.
You have to combo this too, though. Like,
Yeah, but it still seems good.
okay.
It's a good card. If you get it off, it's good. It's also a pirate, which might be relevant at some point.
Mhm.
Maybe we will get this pirate rogue, the actual pirate rogue, not this Patches rogue that everyone played.
Yeah. Pirate Rogue wasn't that long ago. Pirate Rogue was around. Well, maybe it was. Maybe like 2 years ago or something. Okay, well, I think out of all of us, I think Jackie seems to be the most excited about Rogue, which is cool. I mean, that's definitely great. It'd be good to see something that's not Miracle or Kingsbane. I'm excited for it.
That being said, I do think Miracle could be pretty good.
Okay, that's good. All right, we got Warlock. Let's see if I added any mage cards to Warlock. Or no, okay, I didn't. That's good. We got 1 mana Dark Possession spell, rare. Deal 2 damage to a friendly character. Discover a demon. Witchwood Imp. It's a 1 mana stealth. Death Rattle, give a random friendly minion +2 health. 1/1. 2 mana Curse of Weakness spell. Echo. Give all enemy minions -2 attack until your next turn. And then finally, Fiendish Circle. 4 mana. Summon 4 1/1 imps. Which is like implosion without the damage, basically. Yeah. So, I don't know. I think Warlock continues to get interesting things. A lot of them.
You mean OP things?
Yeah. Okay. OP things. Okay. No replacement. A lot of them seem to be control oriented, and of course, since control Warlock is so good right now, it just seems to be in line with that. But yeah, I mean, some of these things like Curse of Weakness. I mean, this is. Wow, like the Warlock of all things got this. This is always like a priest kind of thing where you lower the attack and you just kind of kill it. And now Warlock gets it. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Like, is it telling us something? Like, why did they need this kind of card?
This card is actually such a meme, right? Like for Warlock, because it's so powerful. Like Warlock will not play this card because it has so many
Right.
board clears.
Right.
But this is actually insane with Doomsayer. You
Yeah.
can actually get like a almost guaranteed. It's kind of like a Frost Nova Doomsayer in a way. Like you nerf the entire board, then you play Doomsayer. It's very likely the Doomsayer will stick. Another thing is it works with the new 7-drop, the new horror minion.
Mhm.
Like you do this. It's kind of like a pin-sized potion, kind of.
Yeah.
You can play it also, and then play the big guy and then kill everything. But Warlock doesn't need it because Warlock has so many board clears. But
Yeah.
Warlock has it. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I realized Ratcatcher wasn't on here, so I just added it. 3 mana, 2/2, Ratcatcher, Rush, Battlecry. Destroy a friendly minion and gain its attack and health. So,
The cut that actually confuses me the most is the Witchwood Imp. Like, I actually tried to think about it. Like, where would you want to play this card? It's such a confusing card because it has stealth.
well, and it's all about whether there's a good 2-drop, right, that you would want to give health to. And, I think that
the Bonfire Homunculus, pretty good.
Homunculus, yeah, 2/4, 2/6, yeah, that'd be pretty solid. So maybe this card's good in like a zoo or demon, demon-like deck.
It is it's a demon on turn 1, so maybe it's not the worst.
Yeah, I mean, I think Flame Imp and Voidwalker are better than this, but then the fact that it has stealth means that you can like chill around. It can like chill, and then you can get a buff on it, like a Fungal Mancer potentially, or Demon, whatever the 2 mana.
Get Homunculus, right?
Off it.
What did you that one or?
Yeah, the 2 mana give a Demon +2/+2.
Oh,
Demon Fire?
Demon Fire.
Demon
yeah.
Fire. That's
Yeah,
the
the
one.
spell. Mhm.
Yeah, so I find this one really hard to judge actually.
Yeah.
I don't know if Zoo could be. I think Zoo could potentially be a thing because Zoo just has great early game minions. Like you got Flame Imp, you got Voidwalker, you've got the Librarian, you've got Doomguard and Soulfire. So Zoo could still be a thing, but it's kind of the same situation as is it worth playing Zoo when Control Warlock is so good?
Yeah, I mean, I think comparing it to a Voidwalker is the best thing to do. Like, would you rather have the 2 health on the 1-drop, or would you rather have it on your 2-drop? That's kind of like how I look at it. And for me, best case is about equal to a Voidwalker. So I think it's like very designed in a very interesting way, but it's just the body itself is just not very interesting. It's like not good enough to even, you know, make for interesting scenarios.
The stealth is what's the most interesting thing about it with demon buffs, I think. That's where it has the most relevance, I think. Like Fungalmancer or Demon Fire, like we were saying earlier.
Yeah, yeah.
Go
ahead.
Oh, one more thing. On the subject of like Demon Zoo, with the Curse of Weakness, is Void Ripper is a demon, right? And you know, people were playing Pint Size and Void Rippers.
Yep, they were.
I mean, I'm just saying, like,
that's what it's there for. Yeah, totally, right?
It's so stupid.
It's so stupid. Like they needed it, right? Like they don't have enough removal already.
And it's echo,
holy
right?
crap!
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying.
Zeros all across the board. Yeah. Okay, what do you think? Let's see. Dark Possession. How about that? It's like a 1 mana hero power almost, right?
It's actually very good.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't, like, what you don't want to do usually is play bad demons in your deck because of Lackey. You want to just play specific demons, and with this you will just get more value out of your Skull of Manari without having the drawback of putting demons in your deck. So and it's like a different way to boost your Spellstone, which I really like. Like, more people are going away from Spellstone because of the inconsistency. Like, it's pretty bad that you're like, the Kobold Librarian is very bad in the control mirrors because you draw cards, you fatigue first, which is kind of bad. Most of the time it's not very good versus aggro. But the only good self-inflicting damage cards were Hellfire and Kobold Librarian. So having more options is always good.
Yeah. It's true.
It's Discover too, right? Discover is usually pretty good.
Get another Void Lord.
Void Lord.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, another Doomguard for you. It's definitely great.
Or a Void Tripper for the Curse of Weakness.
Oh god.
Where would you put this card though? Like, would it go into Q block, or? I mean, I guess right, because you'd be playing the weapon, but is it powerful enough to actually justify running it?
Probably not. It's kind of like saying
right?
you have so many good cards in Warlock. That's the crazy part. You don't play a lot of good cards in Warlock because you have so many good cards.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might play this in more of a control Warlock. It's another way to activate your possessed Lackey, obviously. And
you can get Jaraxxus, right?
Huh? Yeah, you get Jaraxxus, right? Yeah.
Jaraxxus over Gul'dan meme. No, like no way.
You get a 315 on the board easy.
Oh, you're talking about. Oh, you're talking about playing it like. Okay. Yeah. What about Ratcatcher, guys? I actually really like this card. I just don't know if Board needs it, but I really like it though. What do you guys think?
I thought about every card so much, and what I really like about this card is actually in Control Lock as well, because if you play Skulking Geist, or if people play Skulking Geist against you, it's very hard to kill off your own Rin, and that's like your main win condition, especially now with Nozov rotating out. This is why I kind of like. Honestly, I am most excited about this expansion about all the decks that are rotating out, the bad decks, which are not fun to play against. And I think it's okay if Control Lock has Rin as like the main win condition without Nuzov. I think with Nuzov it's just too strong. Also, like, you kill Rin and then you silence Rin, kill Rin, then you get it back with Nuzov. I think this was just way too OP. And having now, this is a very good way to activate Rin without using a Spellstone on your own Rin. Or like, you know, it's a very good way.
Other than Rin, though, is there any other reason you'd play this in like a controlling Warlock?
You can kill.
And like, would you actually put this in your deck specifically just for Rin?
You can kill Lackey, of course, as well with it if you want.
Yeah, you can kill Lackey.
I think you
cubes.
Also, like,
I mean, it's
like sometimes Doomsayer, or like just to get good stats, because it has charge, right? You can control the board. Like, it's a cheap combo. This is what you did with Void Terror in the back in the days as well. I don't know if you have like X. We got like this Dragon Egg. Like, usually like Death Rattle minions. It works with it, but Lackey is like the #1 thing, right? Especially if you get like Skulking Geisted and you don't have the sacrificial thingy stone.
Yeah.
The sacrificial pact. But yeah, in Cube Block you have the Taldaram, so I'm not sure if it's in the same slot.
I just think the rush makes it really interesting. You know, like, it might not make it interesting in this control lock type of thing, but if it was more of, you know, fighting for board like you see with some of the other classes, you basically allow a minion to attack twice. Like, some kind of powerful minion you have on the board, you end up healing it, right, too, and giving it a 2 attack, and it gets to attack again. So it ends up setting up a scenario that's kind of cool like that. And then on top of that, the destroy friendly minion, that just has synergy with all the things you just talked about, Lackey, Cube, and so this is like such a great utility card. It's just Warlock has so many like so many good things. We can't even play this thing.
I just came up with
nuts.
another thing that which was actually relevant in the game, just because I thought about it. If you fight against Control Priest, you know they run Mind Control. Oftentimes they just let your Void Lord live. You don't really want to like Sacrificial Pact your Void Lord. With this, you could kill it, which you want for the cooldown, and get like a crazy minion.
Yeah, that's true.
Really
it's kind of crazy. Yeah.
I feel like this card sort of falls into the theme of what we've been talking about. Wow, Warlock's getting another good card, but is it worth it to actually run it in the deck? Like, I think Dark Pact is just better for killing your own stuff, whether it's a cube, a lackey, whatever. So would you actually put this in replacement of all the other OP things that Warlock has? And I think maybe no. But I still think it's really strong, though. Dark Pact.
I don't know. Better. Like, what do we miss? We lose Mixtures of Mistress, right? So there's 2 slots open there.
Which was a good card for this card.
Yeah.
You lose N'Zoth as well.
You lose N'Zoth, so that's a third. Yeah. So you either, I think a lot of the removal cards are expensive. You know, like some of the options are more expensive, and I don't think you necessarily want to go more expensive in a cube. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think really the only cards you're ever going to want to use this on are like Possessed Lackey, Rin, and Cube. And would you play this in Cube block? I don't think you really have any need.
I agree.
Yeah.
Would you play this in a control deck with Rin? Maybe as a one-off, but then it's still only Rin and Possessed Lackey that you really want to use it on. So I would argue no.
It's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, it's you know, in this thing with the Warlock, it's such a waste. You know, like. It's not good to have too many good cards in a class. Like you actually want class balance, you know, in terms of being a designer or developer and producer. I would think that would be what you want, because if these cards are good and they never get played this year, that's such a waste, you know? It's like I wish Shaman had some of these cards, you know, or some of the other classes had some of these cards.
It's like just look at Corrupting Mist as well.
Yeah.
Share the wealth, Warlock.
Yeah, seriously, it's like insane how good it is. All right, well, I want to take a quick break here. Give a shout out to our sponsor, the Dollar Shave Club. Those of you that I'm sure a lot of you guys probably use Dollar Shave Club, but if you guys aren't familiar with Dollar Shave Club, it is a service that you can go and sign up on their website, dollarshaveclub.com, and if you do it right now with /ValueTown, you know, we'll obviously they'll obviously know that you guys came from here, and right now you can sign up for a starter pack for $5, and you get this cool set that comes with, you know, a razor base, as well as a few razors, as well as shaving cream, and I believe some single whippets too. But yeah, I've used Dollar Shave Club before. It's great because they just send it to you. You know, it's like if you're the type that doesn't like to go to the store and buy stuff, this is like perfect for you. And I just kind of know when I need to change razors too, based on like when I get them. So it's kind of nice that way too. It allows me to kind of time when I should be kind of swapping out all these things too. So they're not just razors. There's all kinds of cool, you know, bundles and packages too that involve, you know, all kinds of shaving creams and different, you know, different types of razor and things like that too. So, you know, it's great if you're looking for something like that, or just been too lazy to you know, figure that out, or you got this giant neck beard you just like wanting to shave. You know, this is the route to go. Gaara, how do you like your razors, man? Good?
I love it.
Yeah.
It's the best razor I've ever used.
Yeah.
And I especially love the shave butter. I actually never used shave butter before. I don't know if that's like a thing.
Fancy.
Yeah.
It smells very good. Yeah, it's great. Actually, I use it like I had a razor before, then I tried that, and I like this more. So
yeah. Dr. Carver's
awesome,
shave butter is what he's talking about. Yeah, good stuff. So yeah, definitely go to dollarshaveclub.com/ValueTown and sign up today. That'd be awesome. Also want to remind you guys that, you know, ValueTown as well as myself, you know, we're definitely under, you know, with HSReplay.net now. And I guess got a few things I want to announce that's really cool. Lots of things going on right now, but you know, we released an arena article on the 9 cards today. If you want to go to articles.hsreplay.net, check that out. We released region filtering now on the site, which Gaara has been asking us to do for a long time. Try that out, dude. Good stuff. Yeah, good stuff. You can get stats now for EU, you know, individually, NA individually. So and Asia too. So you check that out. And then lastly, we HCT Twitch extension 2 works on mobile now, so you don't actually have to do this double deck thing, you know, overlapping thing. You can actually see the deck nicely on your mobile tablets and your phone now. So it's really, really cool. Okay, getting back to the decks, let's kind of try to fly through some, or these cards. Let's try to fly through the neutral cards a bit more because we're kind of running out of time. If it's possible, we got like a ton of these, but I did 8 at a time here. So why don't we just pick our favorite ones from here instead of like going through each one? Allie, you want to choose one?
Yeah, sure. I actually really like Baleful Banker.
Okay.
I feel like it has a lot of potential in the future. Maybe not right now. The obvious thing is like shuffling back another Void Lord or a Doom Guard. That'll work. But I think in the future, I don't know. I think it's got potential. I think it's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean,
it's
nice to like. It almost increases the deck, you know, to 31, right? When you get a chance to copy, you know, cards and put it back in your deck. It's kind of nice that way.
Yeah. I mean, it's for like outvaluing people in the long game. It's insane. And Gaara was saying earlier about how you can't really play Astral Tiger without N'Zoth, but I think this could potentially, if you were trying to make some kind of fatigue druid or that type of thing, this can give you more Astral Tigers to give you more steam in the long run and make sure you don't get the fatigue longer. So,
it's such a good card. Because it helps you also in the fatigue. Not just it gives you like an additional Tyrion, additional value, and you're like 1 turn ahead in fatigue because of the 1 extra card. It's actually very, very good in Control Mirrors.
All right, Countess Ashmore. Or what do you guys think? No.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah,
like,
Countess Ashmore. Crazy, right? Like
one of the only downsides I have to it is that like a lot of people have been comparing it to Curator, but the fact Curator had Taunt was actually quite a big deal. Generally, you're probably going to be playing this in a slightly slower deck, I think. And so a 7 mana 6, say playing 7 mana to just play a 6/6 is a little bit risky. Also, having a Rush, Lifesteal, and Death Rattle minion deck, like these are quite unusual mechanics. So, is there going to be a deck where you're going to be playing all of these? We mentioned Priest earlier, where you can play a Death Rattle and Lifesteal minion. But other than that, I'm not sure where you're actually going to be playing this card.
Would you say it's stronger than Curator or no then?
I actually think Curator is better.
I think I'm of the opposite opinion. I agree with you on the taunt. It's not as defensive, but I think that Rush, Lifesteal, Death Rattle is far more general and flexible than a Murloc, Beast, or Dragon. So I think we'll see it in a lot of control decks.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Card draw, you know, attached to a really solid body. So
Death Rattle probably outnumbers 2 of those things, you know, like 2 of the things from Curator, right? I think, maybe I'm wrong about that, but it outnumbers 1 tribe for sure, Death Rattle by itself. So, yeah, it's pretty darn good and from the standpoint of coverage. Anything else here? I'm not too interested in the other cards, to be honest.
Chief Inspector?
Which one?
Pretty cool that interesting they've decided to add another card that destroys secrets now that each of secrets is rotating out.
Secrets, man.
Yeah, I hate secrets.
I love hate cards. I think hate cards is super important for the game.
Really?
You like hate cards? That's funny.
I hate hate cards.
That's quite a popular opinion.
Yeah.
Balanced hate cards.
Balanced.
Counterplay cards. Not like Golakka Crawler. That's a bad designed hate card. But this is a good design. Like maybe not. It's better than the Khazan Mystic, which just won you the game because you steal it. I think it's okay to destroy it, but not to steal it or anything like that.
One thing I think that's interesting about this card is that Eater of Secrets had such a bad stat line, being a 4-mana 2/4, that if you're not against a deck with secrets, it's really bad to play it. Whereas a 5-mana 4/6 stat line is nowhere near as bad. So if your opponent isn't playing secrets, it's actually not as bad to play this card.
That's why I like the design of this card. It's very important to design the counterplay cards in a good way, similar to Harrison Jones. It does like the player that gets like hated on doesn't auto lose the game if you get Harrison Jones, and you can play around Harrison Jones. And the card, you don't get punished too much by playing this card in matchups where it's not as good against, like Eater of Secrets. Those are like the good 2 examples of bad designed hate cards. Golakka Crawler, it's too powerful because the player just loses the game.
Yeah.
And Eater of Secrets, you get punished too much by playing it against non-secret decks. So a card like this is just decent. It's a good hate card.
Yeah, I think at Eater's, you know, Eater's Secrets, obviously it mattered how many you killed, right, in terms of how big it got. This, I think, like you guys said, I think this is just better. Like, it's just more powerful.
Strictly better,
it gives you just an average value that's higher than, I think, Eater Secrets was more situational and stuff. So this is just like 4-6, that's good. Like Jackie was saying. So this is just a good card. I don't know if it's better or worse as a 8 card. It's just a better card, period, like than Eater Secrets was. So
I have to say, I don't think it'll see play though, and the main reason is because Ice Block's rotating out.
Yeah.
I feel like Eater of Secrets was the main. Ice Block was the main reason to play Eater of Secrets.
Yeah, agreed. God, imagine when a Kazan Mystic goes there, you'd take Ice Block. Oh my god, that's ridiculous. Thinking about that is just ridiculous now. All right, next up we've got another set of neutral cards.
Also, the 8-drop was interesting, but
okay,
whatever.
Which one?
Not obviously to play it for 8 mana. The 8/8 definitely heal for 8.
You like that card, really?
Yes, but to cheat it out. I like it in Recruit Warrior. I was going over every archetypes, and we did. There's actually very few big minions in the set, which is kind of sad because we lose a lot of big minions, like big boys. And one of the actual good big boys is this 8 mana 8/8. To get it out from, like, let's say the coffin guy we saw earlier.
Yeah,
this is one good minion to get it for free. A 0 mana 8/8 definitely heal for 8 is pretty darn good if you play like a slow, greedy deck. If you get it out for free, similar to Recruit Warrior. If you just get it out for 6 mana, it's just those decks that are super greedy where you just need to survive. You get like getting this guy out from a Woe Cleaver is ridiculous. Obviously not to play it for 8 mana, but in mana cheat decks, it's pretty good.
Yeah. Oh, you know, one thing I did want to ask you guys too. Oh, yeah. I mean, do you think the 8 health is that relevant? Like, you know, the actual death rattle here in like a warrior, really? Okay.
In general, just healing is good. Like, it's good. It's about the value. It's late game heal. Like late game heal is much better. Healing on expensive cards is much better than healing on cheap cards. This is like, for example, the Lifesteal Charger for 2 mana. Like having heal on a 1-drop or 2-drop is usually very relevant because it's that early in the game that you didn't take damage anyways. Like healing starts to get relevant past turn 4 usually.
Okay.
And this is why.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Oh,
I think it depends on the meta, right? Like if it's a lot of control, maybe the 8 health won't really be that relevant. We'll see.
Oh, last real quick question that I just dawned on me. The Cauldron Elemental. Like, what do you guys think of this with Calamos? You think this is a pretty good card to kind of have? You know, maybe something with Shaman. You know, where you fill the board with stuff and then you're able to do this as kind of like a Savage Roar type of thing. Something there or no?
I think filling the board with elementals is going to be pretty difficult in a lot of decks. I think there are going to be situations where, like, if you're playing Servant of Calamos, getting this could be really good if you just want value. But I can't see a deck outside of. To be honest, I think if elementals do see play, I think it's more likely to be Mage than
Shaman.
Mage and Shaman, and I don't think you would play this in Elemental Mage.
Okay.
I don't think it's very good.
All right. Next up, we got the next set of neutrals here. Let me see if I can bring this up real quick. Okay, we got Lost Spirit. Actually, I'm probably not gonna read them. Let's just read out the ones that we actually want to talk about here, just to go a little bit faster.
I think the Hench Clan Thugs OP.
Okay, this is 3 mana, 3/3. After your hero attacks, give this minion +1/+1.
Yeah.
All right.
I think it's OP. I don't know. Maybe not OP, but I think it's really good. Like you have, Candle Shot and Hunter. That's 3 attacks.
Yeah.
The fact that this thing just keeps growing if left unanswered. I mean, obviously in Rogue it would probably be that's the obvious one. You can curve out with your dagger on 2 into this 3 mana 4/4. But if left unanswered and it continues to grow, I feel like that just in and of itself is really strong.
Yeah, I agree with Ali.
I think there's a good chance it's going to continue to grow too. Like,
right.
I wouldn't be surprised if the average buff is close to 2 on this minion. It's hard to kill a 4/4. Like it's on.
It's very similar to Undertaker.
Yeah. Not as powerful, but yeah.
There's very few cards that can kill it if it gets buffed or
Question is, what deck are you going to be playing this in? You're going to play this in Rogue or Warrior or Paladin, maybe? Or Hunter even.
Hunter. I think Rogue. Hunter.
Druid even has a potential because I mean any hero power that can just attack is something, right? Like
Yeah,
as long as your hero can attack, yeah. So, so does it feel like, you know, Flappy Bird a little bit? You know, like it's a 3-drop that if it stays on the board, it's like it just goes out of control on you. I mean, it's not as crazy as Flappy Bird, but has that kind of feel, that kind of impactful 3-drop here.
It is probably, it could be stronger than Flappy Bird, honestly.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, because if you get the effect immediately off and you can't kill it, then you just like you won't stop playing stuff afterwards. Like,
okay.
You will keep playing minions and you still have to deal with that.
So it's questing feel maybe, like something like that. Yeah.
It might not be as explosive as Flappy Bird, but more consistent. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, because the turn you can buff it on the turn you play it, whereas Fledgling is just a 3/3. You gotta hope it survives.
Yeah, yeah.
One of these cards I'm actually interested in is actually Mad Hatter.
Yeah.
Oh goodness.
It's kind of such a crazy card, but it has similarities to Fungalmancer. What's interesting about it is obviously if your opponent has minions on the board, it's really bad because you're just buffing your opponent's minions or risking buffing your opponent's minions. But if you are the only player with minions on the board, which in a very aggressive deck, an early board centric deck, you would hope you would be, you can just buff +3/+3 to your own minions, and it's not like you have to have multiple minions on the board. You could just have one minion and give that one minion +3/+3, or you could spread the buffs around. So I think this is kind of an interesting one that people might be overlooking slightly.
Thematically, you know, with the name, it's like my #1 card. like Mad Hatter is so brilliant in the name and what it does, because like Mad Bomber, right? Mad Hatter, and of course we know Mad Hatter, you know, from Alice in Wonderland. So it's like A+ for that for sure. I don't know how good I think it is, but it's really cool that way. Yeah,
like, I'd probably play this card in Zoo.
Really? Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Wow.
That's pretty good.
It's actually interesting that we all pick different cards. For me, the most interesting cards are like Life Drinker and Sand.
Life Drinker? Wow.
Yes, because
okay,
you need this card for the Shaman OTK. You can't OTK without this card. So this basically makes it
right.
possible.
Of course.
And it's actually good. Like when I saw this card, the raw value of this card, if there's a deck you can play this card in, it's a good card. And apparently the new Shaman deck can run this card. Because Battlecry heal for free and deal free phase damage is very good
Pretty
value.
good. Right?
I mean, healing for 3 is what? Normally a couple mana maybe?
It's like a Farseer. Farseer is also a good card.
Oh, you're damaging and then getting it. Okay, yeah. Yeah, that's good value. Yeah, I could see that. We guys think of Night Prowler. It's a 6/6 if there's nothing else on the board.
I think it will mainly be interesting for the Rexar. Like if you build a beast, there's no minion on board, you will pick this because then you have crazy stats.
You have all these poison things on the board. Wouldn't this be a good follow-up to it? You know what I mean? Like, you just kill stuff and you throw this down, and it's like a 6/6. It's the question is whether like the times you can't 3/3 makes up for it, because it feels like the what was that warrior card before we used to play? That's 9/9 or a 6/6. You know, it kind of felt like that.
Crusher.
Yeah.
Draconid Crusher.
Yeah, it feels like a smaller version of that. Like,
I think generally it's bad, but yeah, the Rexar potential might be there.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be too hard to pull off.
Yeah.
Consistently, anyway.
All right, let's neutral card number 3. Let's see. This is the second. We have a few after this, so we got anything interesting here?
We got an egg.
Yes, that's Jackie's material right there. Anything good? This good egg?
Unfortunately, I really don't think this egg is going to be good. The only way I could see this egg potentially working is in a kind of a priest deck that's playing like Divine Spirit and Inner Fire, and also playing the new Lady. Is it White Lady?
Lady in White.
Lady in White. Because obviously priest wants ways of activating Duskbreaker, and if you can buff this thing's attack, it becomes a 1/1 3/3. You have the potential to use like Powered Shield on it in the early game and Inner Fire to make an early threat, but it's probably not going to be good enough.
What do you guys think of the Witchwood Piper?
Yeah,
I think it has a lot of potential, honestly. A consistent, like, it might help with combos, you know, just like securing a draw. It's attached to a body. I think it has potential, honestly.
Somebody's going to build a deck that abuses this. Like, I can almost guarantee you somebody will build something that completely, you know, a combo deck, like you said, is the most likely candidate that you can just nail down something that you need to finish a combo, or even something that has a high chance of you getting something like you know, like a Zodia Priest, right? Or sorry, Mage, you know, like that sort of thing, where you can get like an Apprentice, or you can get an Antonize or something, right? That's going to help you finish the quest. So yeah, that's almost certain somebody will come up with something that abuses it.
Maybe not like in even decks. Like if you have like, you want to add card draw.
Okay.
You have nothing to go, then something like this.
It's pretty weak, like tempo wise for an even deck, though, right? Like, you're already giving up tempo a lot of times with an even deck. Wouldn't this be pretty tough to play in something like that? No.
Like, we haven't even built these decks.
Yeah, that's true. I guess let's just see what they look like, and then we can talk about it a little bit more.
What deck are we talking about?
Yeah,
I think I will say is I think Vicious Scalehide is possibly the best card from the new expansion for the Builder Beast.
Good
like,
point.
Hunter, if you're playing Rexar a lot of the time in the late game, you really want some defensive tools.
Yeah.
And a Lifesteal Rush minion combined with another minion is going to be really good from Builder Beast, I think.
That's good.
And it's cheap, right? You always want to be kind of picking up cheap minions with Rexar initially. So
there are not many beasts that have 2 keywords in them. So yeah, that's a great point, actually.
It's not just that, the Leech as well. Like a 1-mana lifesteal is also insane, because you can pick up a lot of big minions, and then for just 1 extra mana you get them lifesteal.
Yeah. It's the ideal first one to get. Like, this is the one you want to pick first, and then you can just add on the mana that you need so that you can actually play it on that turn, right? So that's definitely nice. Okay, we can move on. Is that cool? We only got 2 cards left.
Cool.
Yeah.
I've got to run to the bathroom real quick.
Okay, sure. Cool? Yeah, go for it. Yeah. These last 2 cards, they're just like so. Let's see what it
my card.
Oh, is it your card? Which one was it? I forget. The Worgen. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, Worgen Abomination. Yeah, 7 mana, 6/6.
I'll leave this one to you then, Gaara.
Yeah,
I don't want to talk about it. I talked about it so much. Jackie, it's your turn.
At the end of your turn, deal 2 damage to all their damage minions.
Land on my card.
I think it sucks. Yeah, there you go.
There you go. easy review. Thank God Jackie didn't get this one. No. Yeah, it's, you know, I think you'd have to combo with something like Warrior or something, you know. And I mean, it's cool that it's pretty much infinite value until you I mean, it's all minions, so it's not valued in some cases, but
it's only control warrior, if anything.
Yeah.
If.
And then Wormguard here, what we got? We got if you're holding a dragon game, +1 attack and taunt. Okay, so 4/11 if it's a taunt. It's okay.
It's like a neutral Ancient of War, but Ancient of War doesn't see play. So in what kind, and it has like a big condition because we don't have good dragons. So in what kind of deck would you play it?
It's Priest, Dragon, Lady in White, right?
Yeah, it would have to be Priest, right? That's
the
only place I can see it happening.
Yeah, we're talking about Wormguard, Allie.
Okay.
Yeah. Nothing too exciting here, but Wormguard I could see just throwing it in. Like,
it would be insane actually if you get a 12/11 taunt. It's like for 7 mana. That's like ridiculous stats.
Wasn't Ben talking about Emerus with this card or something?
Oh god, Dragon.
Oh my god.
Jackie, I believe.
Nah.
I will not build this deck.
I wouldn't even go there.
I wouldn't even go there. Can't live that long, basically. That'd be crazy.
Dragon Control Hunter. Oh my god.
Okay, let's talk about our favorite cards. How about that? Favorite cards of the set. So I put them down here, and that's kind of the list of our favorites here, and I tried to mix it up a little bit, but overall, we talked about some of them today already. But Al, you want to talk about some of the ones maybe we didn't talk about that were really great? And just kind of reviewing all of them now.
Yeah, so we talked about Countess, Thug, Glinda. I think Glinda's great. I think Glinda has the potential to be kind of crazy in the future. I see her in like a zoo or a tempo deck more so than a slower one because she's expensive. Like at 6 mana, you can't really do too much in the turn. So my rationale is if you're playing a more tempo-oriented deck, you know, you're putting pressure on your opponent. So if you do drop this on 6, maybe they don't have the answer, and then your following turn, you can go crazy. Gnome Feratu, can I just say that? If it lives, crazy. But yeah, I really like Glinda. And I also think Voodoo Doll is really, really strong. Neutral, removal. Don't think it's that hard to kill a 1/1. Obviously, the best probably in Mage, 5 mana Assassinate. Yeah, I think neutral removal is just really good. And then Hagatha, I like Hagatha. It was hard for me not to pick her. It's like it's a new Death Knight. Control Shaman, maybe if it gets there. I think she's a lot of fun.
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, Voodoo Doll, Gaara, you have it on there too, right? Definitely solid card. It's on. It would have been like my 6th or 7th. I mean, I could have replaced any of mine with that too. What do you think about that one?
About Voodoo Doll?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'm so happy about this card, and it reminds me of BGH pre-nerf, and I was so mad that BGH got nerfed because it was at that point when it was nerfed, it was so important for the Druid class because Handlock was played at that time, and it was the only way for Druid to remove it besides running Mulch or Naturalize, which are horrible replacements. And it's so funny that we are actually getting now a better pre-nerf BGH. It is a neutral hard removal for every class, which is, I think, super good for the game. And it's super awesome that we have it. And so we don't lose to Spiteful getting like a Tarantus, that we don't auto-lose to that. It's great. We can play this card. And it has like a lot of, so many cool combos, right? A Druid can ref it for 1 to draw a card. You know, Mage can ping it. It's like these classes kill it in different ways. Warrior uses Whirlwind effects. It's just such a cool card.
Yeah. Oh, just to sum it up for the listeners too. Allie's favorite cards were Voodoo Doll, Glinda, Crowskin, Countess Ashmore, Hench Clan Thug, and Hagatha the Witch. But Gaara, you know, since you're talking about some, why don't you go through yours here?
Yes, the Shaman card, because without this card, Shaman would be complete trashed here. This card really is.
So we're talking Shudderwock. Yeah, Shudderwock.
Shudderwock, yeah. Yeah, it's broken if it works. It has OTK potential. It's the craziest card of the set. It's funny that the way they highlighted Hagatha as like the main card of the set, I believe, and the way how they showed Shudderwock was just randomly somewhere, and it's like the craziest card of the entire set. It's kind of funny to point that out, and yeah, it's just all the you can build actually infinite value Shaman as well with this card. You can go infinite with it. It's so many different things you can do with this card.
Yep.
The spell, the Druid Resurrection
Witching Hour.
spell,
Yep. Witching
Hour is also crazy good. I'm super excited to build decks around this card. Many different things you can do. If it's good, it's broken. Again, mana cheat. You can summon 3 mana 3/12 with Taunt, or like Tyrantus, a 3 mana 12/12 immune sounds also pretty good. And or like the giant Anaconda, which gives you then Deathwing for 3 mana, pretty good. A 7/5 the Deathwing, pretty good.
Yep, sounds fun. Sounds super fun.
Baku deck building. I'm a huge fan of like the Reno idea, like building an entire odd deck or an anti-even deck. The idea behind it is very, very good. It's just I don't like Blizzard pre-building decks for me. And this is kind of like pre-building. They force you to do like only odd decks, but you're like still like open to do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Kind of. You can play any odd decks you want. And obviously the coffin from the priest. It's so good. Hopefully it's good enough.
Oh, hopefully. I'm almost positive it's good enough.
Control priest. I hope
it'd be crazy if it's not. Okay, Jackie. Jackie's got some cool ones on here, surprising ones. So I kind of can't wait for Jackie to read his list out here.
Yeah, I got a lot of fun ones. I think it'll be strong. I think Lady in White is just going to be. I think it's not going to be a card you're going to want to like build your deck around. But I just think there's so many priest cards that have like significantly higher health and attack. I mean, and pretty much every priest deck has loads of minions with high health and low attack. So just chucking Lady in White in your deck and giving everything Inner Fire can give you massive tempo plays after you've played it. Yeah, I think it's really strong. Tess Greymane is just one of the most fun cards I'm excited to play. I just can't wait to just play this kind of Burger Rogue style deck where you're stealing everything and then you're just playing Tess and you kind of know what's going to happen, but you kind of don't. And you could potentially have massive turns. Like if you've played lots of minions that you've been able to steal, you could it could potentially be a board flood. So really excited about that. Rebuke is one of my favorite cards they've revealed. Like I really like that they've kind of brought back the Lotheb effect. Obviously Lotheb was like overpowered. And so you just kind of chucked it at the time, you kind of just chucked it in any aggro deck. Whereas Rebuke, you kind of have to think a lot more about whether it's actually worth playing in your deck, because in an aggro deck, you don't want to have this in your hand early on. It can also stop you getting a big divine favor. But at the same time, if used at the right time, it can completely just win you the game on its own and protect your board that you might have built up in the early game.
Yeah.
So yeah, Rebuke's a hard one to say whether I think it's actually going to see play or not.
Yeah, I think that's a card that people are divided on too. Like some people like it, some people don't.
Yeah.
I think it's a meta tech card.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
fair.
Yeah, it could be. Like if everyone's playing control decks that run lots of spells, then it would be fantastic. Handmaster Sure. Oh wait,
Nope.
Toxmonger is my next card.
Toxmonger.
Yeah, I've seen the hype for Quest Hunter, man. Quest Hunter's just been like my favorite meme deck for like a while now, and this is so good for that archetype. I feel like there's going to be so many games where I'm playing like Vilebrood Warden on turn 5, which draws you 2 1-drops, and then on turn 6 you go Toxmonger with like a couple of the 2 1-drops you've just drawn. So really hyped for that.
Yeah.
Like really, really hyped for Quest Hunter. And the last card I'll be playing in the same deck, I'll be playing Tess Greymane. And I think a lot of people are underestimating this card actually. Spectral Cutlass, the 4-mana 2/2 lifesteal.
My mind. Yeah.
Whenever you play a card from another class, gain +1 durability. And the +1 durability is the thing that makes me excited about this card. So a 4-mana 2/2 lifesteal isn't that good, but it does have lifesteal, so you are going to be able to sustain a bit. And every time you're playing these other cards, you're creating from your Fox or Hallucination. Bearing in mind that Rogue has prep, so you can potentially prep out spells from other classes. You're just going to potentially be able to hold on to this weapon forever. And you can use like Deadly Poison to buff it, as well as the new 3-mana 2/4 that also buffs your weapons. So this could end up just getting so much value that you probably wouldn't expect out of it. It's definitely one of the cards I'm most excited to play.
Yeah, wow. That's cool. Yeah, I mean, definitely if you could get it bigger than 2, then it would start looking super interesting, you know, where you just continually have it for the remainder of the game or something like that. Really, really cool. That was unexpected, but that's why we love Jackie. My list, Lady in White, which, you know, Jackie talked about, I think it's just great in terms of priest and just upgrades. Just you could just literally throw it in almost a lot of priest decks, and it's just gonna upgrade a lot of the minions already in it. Countess Ashmore we talked about, super good. Ratcatcher, I just appreciate the design. So this one is not so much it's going to be good or anything, you know, going to be used, but it's wasted on Warlock, unfortunately, right now. Matriarch we talked about earlier, and then Chameleos. I think Chameleos is one that is probably not, you know, might not show up on the ladder much, but I think people will use it very specifically in events, or at least I'm hoping people will use it, and then we'll see, you know, we'll see a true utility card that's, you know, that's all about, you know, game theory, competitiveness, you know, and less about, you know, what we typically see right now from Hearthstone, you know. So information, actually having something that visually, you know, and very explicitly shows the whole information stealing and leeching and how that affects an outcome of a game, I think is going to be really good for Hearthstone, especially competitive Hearthstone. So I really, really like that card. And not to mention, you just get value from whatever it turns into too. So I think a lot of people will you know, might play it just purely on that. So really cool cards overall. Yeah, I think the expansion cards, they're really good variety there. But let's just, the last thing we'll do power rankings here, and then we'll call it a day. So last time, you know, me, Allie, and Jackie did the. I mean, we did more things, but we decided that we would do this last class power ranking together, and see how everything turns out. We've got pretty different lists, so.
I think you mixed up.
Did I? What?
Yeah, me and Gaara have the wrong ones. I
Oh,
think.
really? Okay, let me switch.
I think I'm the only one who didn't put Warlock first.
You're right. I switched. Let me update it real quick. But imagine Jackie's and Gaara's. We literally made this like a minute before the show, so I apologize for that. Yeah, between just the list. Like, let's just talk about it. I think the biggest difference we have is I think Mage is pretty big difference, and it looks like Rogue is pretty different, at least for Jackie and the rest of us. Jackie seems to like Rogue a lot better than the rest of us. So yeah, talk about Mage. You guys really like Mage and where it's going to be.
I think it just comes down to if Elemental Mage is good or not, which I personally think it will be. I think the 5/5 is pretty insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Mage is also insane. I think Warlock is obviously very, very good, but Mage is going to be one of the best answers to Warlock because they have polymorphs, and the fact that Warlocks are losing a Zoth, that's a big chunk of value they lose, and so the Mage Death Knight will be able to contest more, I feel. And then I think aggressive Mage decks are also going to be one of the best aggressive decks in the game, so yeah, I think Mage is going to be wicked.
Okay. You had Druid last, right, Jackie?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I think the more we've talked about it, I think I might start agreeing with you here. But prior to it, I had it a little bit higher. I don't know. I still think there's something there with like just what you were talking about, Gaara, just all that cheating mana stuff. I think there might be something, in terms of Druids being able to survive until that point. Let's see what else. Any other big differences here? It's really looking at the bottom. So we have Warrior at the bottom for most of us. I have a little bit higher, but yeah, I don't know. I still think that. What do you guys think about Dead Man's Hand Warrior? Is it still going to be good?
It's dead.
It's just completely dead.
Because
of Cold Light. Because of Cold Light, right? Yeah.
The actual fatigue warrior, Dead Man's Hand Warrior. People will still play Control Warrior with one Dead Man's Hand, but that's not like actual Dead Man's Hand Warrior.
Yeah.
Like, because Cold Light Oracle, Sleep with the Fishes, and Dirty Red. Those are 3 big cards for the archetype.
Right. Okay. Anything else worth mentioning here, guys? Anything? Shaman? Jack, you have Shaman, Gaara, you have Shaman pretty high here. Yeah,
it's hit or miss, I think, with Shaman. Because if Shaman is good, it's going to be meta-defining. And if it's bad, it's going to be... my last 6 spots will definitely change. I mean, this is completely random if they're correct. Like, again, Shaman can be completely the worst class in the expansion. It really comes down to how good this legendary card is, honestly. If it's bad, if it's too slow, Shaman can't survive to pulling the combo of too little bad card draw, then Shaman will be the worst class. And if it's good, then it's really good.
Right.
Like, really good. One of the best decks.
All right. Well, why don't we wrap up, guys? I think that was good. I finally changed after we were like done now. But overall, you guys happy about all the cards? Like, what do you guys think? Just power level, just general balance. Last thoughts on pre-release before the actual thing comes out tomorrow.
I think overall the power level of this set is relatively low, but I think maybe that's intentional. It's the first after the rotation. They didn't want to throw anything too crazy. I mean, we do have some crazy stuff in here, but I think as expansions go, I feel like it's lower in power level than what we've seen in the past. I don't know if you guys agree.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Thank you, Gaara.
Yeah, I think I agree as well, but I think that's a good thing. Like, I think what we really didn't want is an expansion that has kind of the same level as Gadget-san, which is kind of so many cards that have dominated the meta for so long. Like, if we had an expansion that was at that power level, I think that would actually be really bad for the game. There's definitely some cards in here that are going to be meta-defining and are going to see a lot of competitive play, but not too many.
Yeah, I'd say the same thing too. It's good that they're starting off with not too powerful of cards. I don't think I think they kind of did the same thing last year with Ngoro. You know, like after the reset, Gadgetzan obviously screwed things up, but Ngoro was relatively weak too. You know, from the standpoint of it gave a lot of room to like him to add a lot of power the rest of the way. You think Ngoro was super good?
I mean, Megasaur, Steed, Stonehill Defender. Like, I just loved Ngoro.
Yeah. I mean, but they're not like, they're not like Cube and Void Lord and like, the crazy things that we saw last time.
Tarim, yeah.
Yeah, Tarim's pretty good. But yeah, overall, I like it. I mean, I don't think it needed to be crazy. I think Cube still being good will be interesting to see how we deal with that. If this meta is able to adapt to it and come up with some good solutions to Cube, then I think this is a great solution, or this is a great expansion. If it can't come up with something and Cube just sits on there for another 3 or 4 months, then we're going to be complaining about that, by the end of 3 months.
Do you think nerf it? Like, do you think they'll nerf Cube if it's months and a couple of months here of just pure torture?
I think they would have done it already, right?
I think they would, but I don't think it will be a few months of torture. I think people are a little bit overestimating how dominant Cube Block will be.
Mm-hmm. Gar hasn't said anything yet.
There's a lot of things to say. First of all, I think Cube Block has clear weaknesses. I think what I expect, the absolute worst case scenario is we will see a 50% Warlock popularity. This will be less than the worst we ever had. That's crazy, but not the craziest we ever had. The craziest was J-Druid with 60% pre-nerf. When J-Druid was the best class in the game and we got Ultimate Infestation and Spreading Plague, we had 60% J-Druid, so this was basically the bottom point of Hearthstone. And I think absolute worst case scenario is 50% Cube Block, and I don't think we will. It's extremely unlikely this will happen. The reason for that is Cube Block has clear weaknesses. Cube Block is not consistent enough versus aggro decks, just because of you can get Doomguards from the lackeys, you have a lot of clunky cards. You don't have Mistress of Mixers, you don't have Cube into Mistress of Mixers, you have less healing than before, you have no healing replacement than before, so it is weak to against aggro decks. And if we have like Shadow Shock Shaman, whatever this is, Mind Blast Priests, like those anti-control decks, then we have enough counters. And the more counters we have to Cube Block, the popularity of Cube Block goes down and down and down and down. Yeah. And also Control Lock is much weaker than before, so it's only Cube Block. We don't have Nuzov, and there's no replacement for Nuzov, so I think it's fine, but the most exciting part about this expansion is the decks that will be unplayable after the expansion, which are a lot of bad decks that are super non-fun to play against. Like Inner Fire Priest will be unplayable, Big Priest will be unplayable, Murloc Paladin, OTK Paladin, Secret Mage, Quest Mage, Kingsbane Rogue, Quest Rogue, Fatigue, Deadman Sand Warrior, Druid. All these decks are not fun to play against.
Yeah.
And I think this really opens up for new decks, and I think we can bear with Cube Block, and I think you can counter it definitely with Nuzov as well.
You think Murloc's dead?
Yeah, because the 2 1-drops rotate out, and you have no replacement. From what I've seen, you can play maybe a Spiteful Murloc deck, but not in this current form. You lose too many.
I still think you can
Gentle
play
Megasaur is still insane, and you could throw the Grimscale, the 1/1. I mean, that's not good, but yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I think you're underestimating Inner Fire Priest too. I think Inner Fire Priest will still be something.
I'm not underestimating it. You're losing Talon Priest, and you're losing all dragons. It's so hard to get aboard with the deck. Really, to build a deck will be too difficult. It will just not be a good deck. It will be like a tier 3 deck or something. Right now, it's the best deck in the game. It's a huge difference.
Yeah. Okay. I'll give you that. That's for sure. Okay. Well, anyways, we still went over by a lot, so we should wrap up. Yeah, we're gonna wrap up. No Q&A today, guys. Definitely send your questions next week. But Jackie, Allie, thanks for doing this, man. This is definitely a good time having you guys back. And tomorrow is going to be a fun day. But you want to do some shout outs before you take off? Jackie, you want to lead us off?
Yeah, shout out to everyone watching. Hope you guys have enjoyed the show. Shout out to Fade to Karma, as ever, for supporting me and Ali. And shout out to ChanManV for inviting us back.
Yeah,
It's great to be back. You know, I had a great time on the show when me and Ali used to be on it, and it's great to be back.
Yeah, it's like, how can we not have card reviews with you guys? I mean, like, I had to ask you back for the big one. Ali, you want to do some shout outs?
Yes. Jackie always takes what I was going to say.
So greedy with my shout outs.
Right? Like, leave some for me. No, yeah, ChanManV and Gaara, thanks for having us. It was a lot of fun. I'm glad that we got to come back for this particular episode. My Twitter, F2K_Allie, it's right there. Alliestrasza Instagram, Alliestrasza Twitch. Those are my places where I'll be. And yeah, the chat. Thanks for watching, hanging out. Really appreciate it.
Awesome. Gaara.
Also, shout outs to Fate to Karma for supporting Jackie and Ellie. Great cause. Shout outs to Ellie's gonna beat Orange in the invitation.
Oh, thank you.
He's going down. Go Ellie. A lot of fun this episode especially, and tomorrow it's going to be exciting. Next week it's also going to be exciting. So yeah, that's it for me.
And I'll round things out. Thank our patrons, of course, the folks that support the show. You go to patreon.com/valuetown if you want to make a pledge and you really enjoy the show and want to help help us to keep doing this show forever. And also HSReplay.net, of course. And one quick shout out to HSReplay. Just be ready for a bunch of stats, guys, because we're going to be sending out a bunch of different types of, infographic and articles and things like that. So be ready for that. We'll be trying to, tweet it and all that good stuff. And, the biggest point is, like, we want to give you guys stuff to talk about. So we'll just send it out there. You guys just, see what you can pull from it. We're going to be showing you some of the best decks, giving our stats and just what's most popular and all that good stuff from what we see in the first hours and days of the expansion. So be on the lookout for that. Find the VODs, of course, on youtube.com/ChanManV. You can find us on iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud.com/ChanManV as always, as well as youtube.com/HSReplay.net too. You can find us there. But it's going to be it, guys, for now. So for Jackie Chan, Alliestrasza, Gaara, and myself, ChanManV, we'll see you next week.